always listen.
Keeler's always in the know.
It makes me want to call him
And tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started.
It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Well, good morning. Was that a crash of a cymbal, or was that you?
I'm sorry, that was me.
How are you feeling? You all right?
Yeah, I am feeling a little better. I am a little head congested today, but
You know what? You should get a when Davey gets back here, or if you can find a cup, I'll pour you a little of my my concoction.
do you want to hear something crazy?
Oh no, I can't do it. I already drank out of it. That
Okay.
would be terrible.
I'm skeptical of the
teeth thing?
the teeth thing.
No, I mean, listen. Do you ever, dare I say, have an Italian salad
Yeah.
with Italian dressing? You have, it's diluted.
Yeah, there's
It's diluted, just
red
like
wine vinegar in there.
Yeah, it's just like putting red wine vinegar and olive oil on a salad. And
Okay.
listen, I get to the point where, I mean, how old are you? You're how old now?
42.
Gee, I mean, come on. I mean, how much time do you have left?
Yeah,
Think
that's
about
the
it.
truth.
There comes those moments where, you look at the 75-year-old sitting there with the oxygen machine, puffing on a cigarette. The only thing they really have to worry about is exploding that thing. Otherwise, their answer is, well, at this point, where am I going?
Right.
Right? Let's see. We are, I guess we're good on YouTube. Okay. Opening day of Major League Baseball, day number 2. Because the Yankees had their blowout on Wednesday night. I just want to tell you what I saw yesterday, and I wasn't. I'm not. Obviously our backyards, your patios, the things that you do outdoors. You're not really set up right now, so
Right.
I did find a chair because it was nice out, and I'm like, let me just take a break here. Game starting at 1:00. I'm just going to sit out in the chair, make a little something to a little lunch, and watch on my phone. So you can't see everything up close that way. So my vision of what I saw, I feel like this is a very strong lineup.
Yeah, for
This
sure.
might be the strongest lineup I've seen the Mets have on an opening day in a very long time. These are veteran players who can put the ball in play, not just hit home runs. Although we did that. And how about the rookie?
Yeah.
On his opening day, and
Bench, man, that was a shot.
and his fellow, his former players in Syracuse, maybe future players, teammates, said, listen, he deserves every bit of it. He's just been phenomenal, and what a good way to start. But I feel like they all know how to put the ball in play. The other thing is good at bats. They drove, what's his name?
Skeens.
They drove him out of that game. I mean, those were just, as an umpire, those were really, really strong at bats.
Yeah.
Which a couple of times wound up either with the ball on the ground or a walk. So I like that. And then the other thing is, what was your other issue? You had another issue.
Look, I think Lindor's a great hitter. I think he's being underutilized as the leadoff. I think I'd prefer him as the 2 or a 3 and then slide other guys down. Maybe Simeon is a leadoff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know it's tough. Look, I think
Here's
honestly,
the problem.
Lindor is effective anywhere.
Here's the problem. Lindor was struggling last year until they moved him to the leadoff spot, if I recall. And that was a move. And maybe it wasn't last year. Maybe it was the year before. And he's kind of fit into that spot. I agree. He's somebody you really can count on to, again, hit the ball, put the ball in play. He's had he didn't have a home run last night, or yesterday, but in the preseason, I think his last 4 out of 6 games he hit a home run. So he is hitting the ball, and yeah, I could see that. I don't hate him being in the leadoff, however. Now, all of this said, July 4th weekend is usually the weekend that we say football is just around the corner as Mets fans. So I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. Well, Mets 1-0, best record, best opening day record in Major League Baseball. It's the other 161 that I'm concerned about. Nice win, 11-7 was the final over, what was thought to be arguably one of the best pitcher in the game.
Yeah.
So they knocked him out in the first inning. The other thing I wanted to mention, I hate to say this, I'm not being negative. What was it? Shakira? Was it Shakira? My hips don't lie. That song about, I don't know, there's the hips don't lie song.
Yeah.
Boy, I'll tell you, they claim that Juan Soto's 27, but those hips don't lie. I don't know. I saw him make a catch, and they actually had him in left field instead of right field, and he made a catch, and the way he turned it, it almost made me get out of my chair and start stretching. I don't know. I hope he's on year 2 of a 15-year deal. I hope we get him for 10. I don't know. But it was all good yesterday.
Yeah, opening day, all good, and you think about Skane coming in, you got a 2-run lead in New York. I mean, you would think that just shows you how baseball can be so unpredictable on any given day. It's a little more sports. Carmelo Anthony is talking. He was on a podcast yesterday talking about the hire of Jerry McNamara, and he's all in. He feels that McNamara is the perfect coach to inspire and get his kid on track.
Really?
So the question has been,
a former teammate, yeah.
Where is Carmelo on this? And sometimes former teammate could be not such a good thing, right?
I guess.
Like for instance, if me being your former teammate, your family just decided to have me build you a new house, you might say, I'm not sure about this move. If he was talking about it, I might be okay with it, but actually physically having him build it, I'm not sure I'm there. I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but the scenario is everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, they Melo and GMAC played together. They got Syracuse their only national championship, and
now
he's a coach.
Six 3-pointers in the championship game.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
Did he really go off for 6?
Yep. That's one of his claims to fame. Let's see. Some interesting stories. We saw the story. Anyway, Carmelo's all in. And then today is a big day. 3 o'clock today at the Odd. Hopefully you can get off work early or get over to the Odd a little bit late. But support Hamilton. If they win Friday, they play 3 p.m. Sunday for the national championship in D3 men's hockey.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Pretty excited. The only thing that would have been better is if we had both Utica and Hamilton in the in the Frozen Four. Okay, your thoughts on some of the testimony that came out of that trial yesterday? The literally it was described that this was from fellow corrections officers describing what they witnessed is that the defendant allegedly kicked that non-twee in the head. He was found, of course, without a pulse and ultimately died, but kicked him in the head like you would kick off a football. Think about that.
It's disgusting, and I don't know this, but oftentimes when you're in a profession like that, the footwear you wear is steel-toed.
Yeah, combat boot type. Yeah, I don't know that that's the case, but yeah. So, and listen, I do feel there's a great deal of blame on New York State right now with all of this. Ultimately, you're a human being, and you should have the compassion not to go to the dark side. However, I think it just has been allowed to get so bad and so bad that the hate has gotten to be so bad, and the tit for tat, the fact that the inmates had really few consequences. They were completely put in a position where they are right now, where they have really no, there's no real punishment if something happens, whether it's inmate on inmate or inmate on CO, or any of the could be a nurse or paramedic. It doesn't matter. And I just think it got so out of hand that here's where we are today.
Yeah,
does not excuse by any means. However, you got to look at the root problem.
I agree with you, Bill, and I hesitate to say this because I think people will read into it the wrong way. I just wonder what it is that, again, completely illegal, completely criminal behavior. But what is it that? Why didn't the day before the guard assault somebody? You know, what is it a comment that was made? Is it something that was found? Does the inmate say, you know, when I get out of here, you better, I don't know, protect your wife or something?
Yeah.
I just don't know what sends somebody over the edge like that.
Or, you know, in the case of
to take someone's life.
Well, you know, both of my sons have been walking on the street, have been surprise attacked. It happened to my son in Denver when he was leaving a Broncos game, and the guy was just having a bad day and just hauled off and punched him in the face. And then it happened to my younger son here in Utica. And in both cases, they had no idea who the person was. In both cases, it was completely unprovoked. And in both cases, they were sucker punched. And why? Well, the answer is, I don't know, I was just in a bad, I just needed to hit somebody. Is that what we have become? Like, I mean, whatever happened to the wall? If you got to hurt yourself,
or go to the gym, or a karate class, or a boxing class.
So I wonder, is it just the stress of life that gets you to the point where I can't take it anymore? Or is it a buildup of hatred? I don't know. I don't know. And we're not in that position, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, I would just encourage anybody in that profession, specifically a corrections officer or law enforcement. Look, I think we agree that the vast majority of them are well-intentioned and they follow the law and they do their job properly.
Probably take a lot of crap.
And take a lot of crap, yeah. And situations like this make them all look bad, where they say the one bad apple spoils the whole lot, or however that saying goes.
You're now not good. You're now quoting the Osmond brothers.
And just think about it. Seriously, I mean, I don't know. Take a deep breath, count to 10. I don't know what the case might be, but you literally go from being on the right side of the law to criminal background now, facing multiple years.
Multiple years
jail.
in prison.
Yeah.
16-year-old driver led state police on a 35-mile pursuit on Wednesday. It started in DeWitt and ended up here in Oneida County. Crazy. Syracuse.com reports the incident started around 1 in the afternoon, about 1:22. Troopers tried to stop a gray BMW on Carrier Circle in DeWitt. The vehicle had switched license plates, heavy window tint, and multiple traffic violations. According to the trooper, the driver refused to pull over. During the chase, the driver intentionally hit a marked state police vehicle on 81, damaging it, forcing it out of service. It stretched through Oswego County and into Oneida County before ending on Route 49, where the BMW became disabled after running out of fuel. You ever been in that situation where you're looking down and you're like, I hope I can make it? This is not a scenario that you want to be in if you're dealing with that. I would say.
No, I totally agree. I always know how far I can go when my gas light comes on.
Yeah, I kind of think I do.
I'm pretty confident. I've run out of gas before, but yeah, it's a horrible feeling, and I couldn't imagine being in that situation when I was being chased by police.
Not with my hybrid, but with a previous vehicle, you've actually had to bring me a little can of gas.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, we were over by Yanandas's.
Yes, we were. I do remember that.
Liverpool man. This is another Syracuse area story out of Clay, but it's crazy. alleged, at a car dealership there. Deputies called a Davidson Ford shortly after 8 a.m. on Saturday when they found the significant vandalism had occurred overnight. Somebody used a 12-gauge shotgun and shot out large double-pane windows at their dealership, shot out 50 brand-new tires, along with 3 used tires. Over $25,000 in damage. Police arrested 26-year-old Dylan Young of Liverpool. Had been fired by the dealership.
Wow. Was it? Oh, the dealership was open when he was doing that?
It happened overnight.
Overnight, okay.
And they came in on Saturday morning and found what they found.
If that makes it any better, I guess the only thing is the coworkers weren't there to be, the dodging bullets.
Right, because then it would have been a different charge.
Probably, yeah.
And just so you Catholics know, it's not just you. I don't want to say you, but Catholics. A 75-year-old pastor in upstate New York in an upstate New York church was arrested and charged with sexual assault, going back 2 decades ago with an 11-year-old. Bevanito Lopez was arraigned on Thursday in the Albany area, pleaded not guilty. Again, you're innocent till proven guilty. This is an alleged crime. They say it took place at his residence. Detectives from the Albany Police Department and Family Service Unit were investigating. Police say that he was affiliated with a few churches in Albany, but declined to identify the churches. I do not believe they are Catholic churches. An Albany church that Lopez appears to be affiliated with posted a message on social media 2 weeks ago celebrating his birthday. I believe
that you're a priest.
It doesn't matter. I mean, it's
if you're an adult.
It can happen, or even we saw in the Woody Maurer case, even your mother, it can happen. And boy, if you see the signs, one of the worst things that could possibly happen in the world, I believe. All right, we're going to talk to Willie Waffle coming up in a second. Manansky has a quick update on news coming up.
A comment from Lance. I know YouTube's already upset with me for going to Lance first, but he says Mohawk Correctional Facility currently has cooks and other civilian employees currently working in the visiting room and package rooms, both positions always held by officers. Another case of the prison headed down the wrong road.
Well, I think this is where I truly believe that it's very much like the bail reform. The DAs, the judges, the sheriffs, police departments, we're not consulted. We are being legislated by downstate for things that have happened in a downstate prison, and that don't happen up here, and it just doesn't make any sense. And I think the same type of thing has happened in the prison system. These people in Albany that come from downstate oftentimes have terrible stories, but they're single stories, and they base everything on that anecdotal story.
Unfortunately, it's emotional legislation, so they're ruling by emotion of one incident. And
correct.
Instead of punishing the people responsible for wrongdoing, or I guess I'll say just holding accountable, not doing what they were supposed to do, and letting these people fall through the cracks.
Joe Wick on YouTube, good game, talking about the Mets. Soto's hips shot. Are they shot? On the prison beating, Joe Wicks, he's got a lot going here. This is on YouTube, by the way. The prison beating was uncalled for, pure hate. No one person stopped it. That is what is messed up. Was the inmate cuffed at the time? I don't know the answer. And why I will never send my children to religious instruction. He's covering a lot of ground here, Joe Wick here this morning. Quick break. We'll talk to Willie coming up in a second. Manansky with a quick update on WIBX coming up.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back.
Hurt in a car? Call William Mattar. 315-444-4444.
Don't rely on a standard off-the-shelf security system. When it comes to protecting your home, there's a big difference between plug and play and a professionally designed system. At CML Security, security is personal. Their skilled technicians meet with you one-on-one, walk your property, and design a custom system built around your family's needs. From security cameras, intrusion systems, and smart home features, they can also add a level of fire protection to their intrusion systems. They install commercial-grade equipment and provide a warranty on systems that they install. Call CML Security at 315-866-5845 today to schedule your in-home consultation. That's 315-866-5845 or visit cmlsecurity.net. Based in Herkimer, they serve the central New York area. CML Security. Call 315-866-5845. Personalized protection your family can trust.
The Potting Shed Antiques in Whitesboro is buying silver, gold, gold-filled, vintage costume, estate jewelry, and U.S. and Canadian coins. They've been your hometown buyer for over 50 years. While other gold and silver buyers claim to offer the highest prices, the Potting Shed Antiques actually delivers. Let Don Hartman take a look at your individual pieces or your entire collection. The Potting Shed Antiques, open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Please call ahead for an appointment. Visit thepottingshedantiques.com.
We have cloudy skies, some light precipitation, 33 degrees. It is 6:45. The partial government shutdown one step closer to ending. Overnight, the Senate passed a bill to fund most of the Department of Homeland Security, including the TSA. The late-night deal was struck between Democrats and Republicans after President Trump said he would pay TSA workers at the nation's airports with or without the help of Congress. The bill, which now goes to the House, would provide funding for all DHS agencies except for ICE and Border Patrol. The U.S. reportedly working with a group of mediators in the Middle East to end the war in Iran. President Trump had given Iran until today to open the Strait of Hormuz or face an attack on its energy infrastructure. On Thursday, Trump said he was extending the deadline by 10 days until April 6th because, quote, talks are going very well, end quote. This weekend's No Kings protests against the Trump administration are expected to see millions hit the streets across the country. Saturday will mark the third such national demonstration. Organizers say protests are planned in more than 3,000 locations. The state of California now recognizing March 31st as Farm Workers Day instead of Cesar Chavez Day. Governor Gavin Newsom signed a bipartisan bill yesterday after it was easily passed through the state legislature. It all comes after the New York Times published an investigation this week detailing multiple allegations from women who said Cesar Chavez sexually assaulted them when they were younger. March Madness rolls on. Half of the Elite Eight now set. Number 9, Iowa beats Nebraska. Number 3, Illinois over second-ranked Houston. Out west, number 2, Purdue beat number 11, Texas. And number 1, Arizona beats number 4, Arkansas. 4 more games on the schedule today. Comedian Bill Maher is set to receive the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor. He'll be presented with the award on June 28th.
This comes after the White House said he will not win this award. They did it despite President Trump saying no. Yeah.
Can I criticize? I'm going to criticize Trump and give him credit for something.
Okay.
He came out yesterday and said, I'll find a way to pay the TSA workers. And then all of a sudden, and it was even reported yesterday in the morning, we're not even close to a deal on funding Homeland Security. Not even close. Trump comes out and says, I'll find a way to pay those workers. All of a sudden, Democrats and Republicans find a way.
Yeah, overnight, if you've not seen that story yet, overnight, the Senate passed a bill that will fund much of DHS, except for the immigration side.
Yeah, ICE and Border Patrol.
It will go to the House today. It's expected to pass, and hopefully they'll be able to initiate payments to the to all of them, not just TSA, but Coast Guard, et cetera, et cetera. So.
And then here's my criticism: he stopped Tom Hanks from getting some award from the military because he doesn't like his politics.
Listen, all I can tell you is he's making so many changes. His name on everything, his picture on everything. There's so much gold in that Oval Office right now. It is the most, I mean, somebody's got to say, how much is too much? It's the most gaudy, ridiculous thing I've ever seen. I feel like I'm walking into an old, no, I'm not going to say it.
You almost said it.
Not saying it. How about the forecast? Ray Stajic, here we go.
As I mentioned yesterday, maybe some wet snowflakes here early this morning, but most of us now have seen the precipitation come to an end. It's either a raindrop or a snowflake, otherwise cloudy, and then developing sunshine at the cold day today, upper 30s. Tonight, clear and cold, 20. North Country, teens. Sunshine tomorrow, only 32. Little rain and snow Saturday night, partly sunny, 45 on Sunday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
We're losing temps. Cloudy skies, depending on your location. Some light precipitation. Now 31 degrees at 6:49.
I'd say by the time we exit the building today, it'll be about 28, 27 degrees. Temperature's going to go down. All right,
Mid-50s Monday, though.
Let me keep it going here if we can. Our man Willie Waffle on the line right now for entertainment and movies and streaming and everything else. Willie, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you guys. Hope it's going well.
Ah, you wouldn't believe it.
I'm sure it's been nothing but roses and happiness in the studio today.
Right off the bat. Okay, I just wanted to start out by that show. What is it, on Netflix or HBO? Neighbors?
Oh, God, yeah. Are you talking about the naked guy?
Yes. Oh, my God.
I heard about this, but I did not see it. And as soon as I heard about it, I'm like, I don't know if I want to see it.
You cannot unsee what I saw.
Yeah, I don't want to see it now.
Oh, the guy's got to be 110. It looks about 150.
I definitely don't want to see it.
He looks like he's 150, and he just can't understand why his, I don't know, where in this decent neighborhood.
I think it's San Diego.
In San Diego. I think you're right, in San Diego. They don't like the fact that he gets his exercise bike out. You know those people who have a backyard, but somehow they find their front driveway's the place where everything should be done? That's him. And he brings his exercise stationary bike out and is out there with either no clothes on,
oh, come on,
or a thong.
He's been arrested or no?
It's legal, I believe.
Naked?
I believe so.
Well, I do know that he was wearing his tight little yellow thong most of the time.
Yes.
You know, and then like during the show, didn't they show him going to a nudist camp at some point?
Yes. They're like, you know what you got to do? There's a community out in Florida where there's like they're the most highest concentration of nudist colonies, and he went to this nude trailer park where everybody's nude, and we end up at a karaoke bar. Of course, it's nude karaoke, and let me tell you, they're showing everything. I'm like, this is just ridiculous.
You know, in some of those Florida trailer parks, not all of them, but some of them, you're not naked until the teeth come out.
Yeah, that's a good point. This was just like that. So, yeah, Willie, you can't unsee it. So this show goes to depths I did not know we traveled to. But
well, I did see an interview with him yesterday, and he was talking that the one neighbor that has been really, really up in arms about his biking and his thong out on the driveway has somewhat kind of stepped back a little bit.
Yeah.
Because he seems to be getting a lot of support online and through the media for just living his life, baby.
Just living his life.
I'm just living his life.
Just trying to, and then he finds, if you watch, I don't want to tell too much, but he finds a young college student.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and that, you know, that doesn't go all that well. But anyway, I guess it's worth watching. Just be prepared to like watching The Pit, which was unbelievable last night.
God, so good.
Oh, just be prepared to turn away every once in a while. Right? You have no choice, Willie, unless you're okay with it.
I mean, you know, maybe this is how we're going to make our millions. We're going to invent a way for a viewer to be able to blur out stuff.
Yes.
Like, you know, while they're watching the show, like, oh, God, I don't want to see him up there in the thong. Let's blur that part out. Let's do that.
Yes, because you can see it coming. You know it's coming. Or the guy with half of his head exposing his brain sliced off. You can see it coming on the pit, and don't look. Oh, it's too late. That was an old song by Jim Stafford. The Streak. Don't look, Ethel. Oh, it was too late. Okay, in theaters this weekend, what do you have? Anything good?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, in theaters we've got They Will Kill You. Yes, because it seems like, isn't it like every week we have some sort of horror movie coming out?
Yeah, you were saying that last week or 2 weeks ago.
It like never stops. And this week we've got another one, and this is Zazie Beetz, right? She plays this woman. She gets a job at a fancy, mysterious New York City high rise, in like the cleaning department. But it turns out they just hired her because it's all a satanic cult, and they want to make her their sacrifice. So now she's running from room to room, fighting off tenants, fighting off everything you can imagine in just gory fashion. And that's what this movie is. It's all about just what are the most outrageous, gory ways that they can have fights. If that's what you're into, have fun. It's all yours. But, it didn't work as well for me. I don't think it's as funny as it wants to think it is. I don't think it's as action-packed as they think it is. I'm at like 1.5 waffles. Right. I'm just kind of like, blah, we've been here before.
How about, I love this, the first season of this, and there's a season number 2, Jury Duty. The concept of jury duty is they bring it. I'll let you explain it, but it is just hilarious. And I'm shocked they were able to pull off a second season, but they have.
I am too. So the original Jury Duty, for people who didn't see it, it was almost like a candid camera type show. You get one person who has been selected for the jury, and everything around him is made up. All the other jurors are actors. The judge is an actor. They even did a bit where James Marsden, the actor, got called for jury duty and got stuck on the jury with him. And so, they try to be as outrageous and crazy as they can to get a rise out of this guy and just see, how much is he going to put up with? At what point is he going to go, what is really going on here? So it's a hilarious show. So now they have Jury Duty 2, and this is Company Retreat. So a guy has been hired as a temp at a hot sauce company to help at their weekend retreat where they have like a barbecue for the clients, and they have team building activities, and of course outrageous things are happening around him. This is all on Amazon Prime. They're only a couple episodes in. They're kind of dropping one every Friday as we go along. And I don't know if it's as good as the original Jury Duty, but it's pretty good. It's a very funny thing, because I think all of us can relate to the crazy things that happen in the workplace that make you go, was that person just crazy?
Yeah. What is that? How do you find that?
So Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime. Okay. All right. Look for that. Anything else streaming you want to hit on?
I'll hit on this. Something very bad is going to happen. This is on Netflix. It's a new series. Boy, it better be good after they raised my prices last night.
Oh, I know.
I was going to mention this before we got out here.
Yeah.
Well, so it's Camilla Moroni, most well known for being one of Leonardo DiCaprio's girlfriends, and she and her husband-to-be are traveling to the family's big compound in the middle of the woods, and everything that they encounter is crazy. Every person they encounter is creepy. Every situation they're in is freaky, and she's convinced that on the wedding day, something bad is going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah, and all I can say is it better happen soon, because this feels a little drawn out, but interesting. I'm at like 2.5 waffles.
And then there are a couple. What is the one? It's Jason Bateman, who he kind of becomes a friend with the guy, and the woman's trying to get rid of her husband. He's having an affair with the woman, and his best friend, the guy.
That's DTF on HBO Max.
Really good.
DTF.
Really good if you have HBO Max. That's worth watching. And then, is it The Rooster?
The Rooster's the one with Steve Carell.
With Steve Carell is pretty good too. We've been watching that. So there's just so much. It's so hard to keep track. And I was just saying to my wife, she's like, we can't get too many things going at once. I'm like, well, years ago, you'd have Little House on Wednesday, you'd have Cheers on Thursday or whatever.
Sopranos Sunday.
Every night there would be something new. So it's not like we're opening up too much, I don't think.
Yeah, but we used to take short, small little bites every week.
You're right.
Like this, something bad is going to happen. I feel like I've got to watch it quick before all the good stuff gets revealed.
And it's the issue. Like the pit, you're drained after the pit. Like you are drained. It's like a movie every episode. All right, Willie, thank you. We'll talk to you next week. Have a great weekend.
All right, see you next week.
WIBX Utica Road, W295
From the WB Tain Insurance Studios, your news talk leader since 1925. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now the latest from Fox News.
This is a Fox News alert. The long security line at airports nightmare may finally end. I'm Dave Anthony.
We are out of time for the critical responsibilities and tens of thousands of workers currently going without pay.
Republican Senate Leader John Thune, after this happened just a few hours ago.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
A unanimous consent in the Senate approving a Homeland Security funding bill. Fox's Doug Luzader reports.
This is now in the hands of the House, which is going to meet later today. Nothing is assured on this, but those lines that wound on and on through one airport after another have finally been enough, apparently, to spur some late-night action on the Hill. The Senate gavelled out at about 2:30 this morning, ending a late-night session where both sides, to some degree, threw in the towel. Republicans agreed to fund all of the Department of Homeland Security except for, essentially, immigration enforcement. Democrats called that a win.
Senate Democrats were clear. No blank check for a lawless ICE and Border Patrol.
That is Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer still demanding immigration enforcement reforms. President Trump was planning to pay TSA agents by executive order. This as he continues to insist Iran wants to make a deal to end the conflict. Now in day 28, an operation he tells Fox's The Five was necessary.
These mad people were going to have a nuclear weapon, and they could do tremendous damage not only to the Middle East and Israel, but also to our country, because we would be next.
The president is delaying till April 6th his threat to bomb Iran's power plants and energy infrastructure unless Iran stops blocking shipping in the Strait of Hormuz as Israel keeps up the attacks today.
Overnight, the IDF claims their aircraft struck at the primary facility for production of missiles, and sea mines are still striking at missile launchers when they become available, and missile storage units.
That's Fox's Mike Tobin in Tel Aviv as Iran keeps fighting back.
The missile fire into Israel is constant. Mostly what we get are the cluster bombs that deliver these bomblets with 10 pounds of explosives.
America's listening to Fox News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-809-7171. That's 800-809-7171.
A small business affirmation from Progressive. Food truck owners, today business will be booming. People will love your new menu and not make special orders. You will not roll your eyes when someone calls it a quesadilla. You will also switch to Progressive to get 30 customizable coverage options and restore your inner peace. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and covered selections.
There's a new Fox News poll showing more Americans worried about the economy as the Iran conflict has lifted gas prices almost $1 a gallon. Only 1 in 4 in the survey say the economy is excellent or good, and only 41% approve of the overall job President Trump is doing. He insists these are short-term issues.
Even with gas prices up more than 30% from a month ago, President Trump says the economic impact from the Iran war could have been more severe.
Frankly, I thought the oil prices would go up more, and I thought the stock market would go down more.
And it's not just fuel prices surging. Fertilizer costs are up as well, with supplies choked off by closures in the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump says he'll announce relief for farmers today.
They deserve it. They've been great. They never complain. They just go out and they farm, and they wouldn't do anything different.
The administration is also lifting some summer gasoline regulations to help ease prices. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Gas is down a penny today. AAA's national average for regular $3.97, but oil prices up about 2% on Wall Street. More selling is brewing. Dow futures down more than 100 points the day after the Dow dropped 469. Now to the March Madness, the NCAA men's basketball tournament.
4 teams punched their ticket to the Elite Eight Thursday, and we had a pair of upsets. Number 9, Iowa with the win over number 4, Nebraska, 77-71. The Hawkeyes going on a 15-6 run to end the game as they head to the Elite Eight for the first time since 1987. And number 3, Illinois picking up a 65-55 win over number 2, Houston. The other 2 games saw number 1 Arizona dominate number 4 Arkansas 109-88, and number 2 Purdue hitting a game winner with 0.7 seconds left against number 11 Texas. They win it 79-77. Tony Genualdo, Fox News.
And there are 4 more men's NCAA tournament games tonight. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
We have mostly cloudy skies, 31 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 7:05. This news update brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica on Commercial Drive in Yorkville. Testimony will be wrapping up for the week in the Jonah Levy trial later today. He's the former Mid-State Correctional Facility officer accused of being involved in the beating death of 22-year-old inmate Messiah Nantwi last year. Yesterday, jurors heard from another former corrections officer and a paramedic who found Nantwi laying on the floor of the infirmary and told the court that he had no pulse. If convicted on the highest charge, Levy faces 25 years to life in prison. A Rome man admits to enticing a minor and receiving child pornography. John Secor Jr. pleading guilty this week in the Northern District of New York. Part of his plea, Secor admitting that in May of 2025, he began chatting online with a 16-year-old Oneida County girl on Facebook who had told him her actual age. Secor's chats with the girl quickly became sexual, and he requested sexually explicit images and videos. Secor also admitting to arranging a meeting with the girl where he planned to engage in sexual acts. He faces a mandatory minimum sentence of 10 years in federal prison and a maximum of life. And on the child pornography charges, he faces 5 to 20 years. He's due to be sentenced in July. Rome police releasing details about an incident this week involving a man wielding a bat on West Dominic Street. It happened not far from the Well Now location in Rome. Officers say they got out of their patrol vehicle and attempted to engage the man, but he became irate, waving the bat in the air above his head and advancing toward officers while making threatening gestures. That individual then fled on foot. He was taken into custody, though, without further incident. He's identified as Eric Hastings. He now faces charges of menacing a police officer and criminal possession of a weapon in the 3rd degree. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 7:08. Here is a look at your Weather Center forecast.
As I mentioned yesterday, maybe some wet snowflakes here early this morning, but most of us now have seen the precipitation come to an end. It's either a raindrop or a snowflake, otherwise cloudy, and then developing sunshine at the cold day today, upper 30s. Tonight, clear and cold, 20. North Country, teens. Sunshine tomorrow, only 32. Little rain and snow Saturday night, partly sunny, 45 on Sunday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Temps falling this morning, cloudy skies, 31 degrees at 7:08. All right, in sports, the Mets pick up a victory in their regular season opener. It came at home yesterday. The final was 11-7. Carson Bench and Francisco Alvarez hit back-to-back home runs in the bottom of the 6th. The Mets now 1-0. They're off today. They'll resume their 3-game opening series against Pittsburgh coming up tomorrow. The Yankees were off yesterday. They resume their season opening series today in San Francisco. The Yankees 1-0 so far. Right-hander Cam Schlittler is expected to toe the rubber for the Pinstripes coming up later today. NCAA tournament action we have 4 of the Elite 8 teams now set. Number 9, Iowa. Number 3, Illinois. Number 2, Purdue. And number 1, Arizona, all punching their tickets yesterday. There are 4 more games in Sweet 16 action coming up today. And by the time Sunday comes, we will be down to the final 4 in the NCAA men's basketball tournament. NBA action last night. The Knicks lost to the Hornets 114-103. Jalen Brunson had 26 points. The Knicks' winning streak comes to an end at 7 games. The Nets on a 9-game losing streak. They're in Los Angeles tonight to take on the Clippers. And coming up this afternoon, a huge weekend kicks off. It is the Frozen Four in the NCAA Division III men's hockey tournament. Hamilton playing at the Adirondack Bank Center at 3 o'clock today. They'll take on Aurora. Undefeated Hobart tonight, taking on Wisconsin Stout. That's a 7 o'clock start. And then the winner of each of those contests will play on Sunday in the national championship game. Go Hamilton.
There will be a lot of people in town this weekend from out of town, from around the country because of this. So if somebody comes up to you and says, how do I get to such and such a place? Please respond with, leave me the hell alone. Let them know who we are.
All due respect, I'm just asking for a friend. Do you think Gary Heenan, he's a Hamilton grad, do you think he goes today and he's rooting on Hamilton, or do you think he's frustrated they didn't make it and he's just washing his hands and he won't be in attendance?
I think he's frustrated, but I think he will. He's the host.
Yeah.
I think he'll be a part of all of it.
Yeah.
Not easy though.
No.
And it was a tough loss. The refs, a lot of people feel that the referees looked the other way on a lot of calls, and really, which is what took Utica out of their offense.
So my son told me, he's great at these post-game reports he gives me, but he said there was a play where Utica, a Pioneer, got tripped, no call, and he said the opposing goalie punched one of the players and nothing happened.
Yeah, there were several of those type things that occurred. And at one point, Heenan appealed, and they have video replay appeal. I didn't realize that. And they ruled against him in that, but he was livid. So, and remember, this was a very close game. This was 1-1. And then all of a sudden, it got so out of control that I think the bottom fell out.
Yeah.
And when that begins to happen, it can be pretty ugly. Also, they were big and physical, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Mike, this morning, if raise the age protects those under 17, who is responsible? In the end, someone has to be held accountable for the actions. We've seen a little bit of it where the parents who may be giving guns to kids or whatever, knowing there's a problem, they end up being the ones. And then heard from a couple of people.
We've seen that out of state, but not in New York.
Seen a couple of people saying that who's the guy, Davey?
He's back.
The waste management guy out of Syracuse, Weitzman, is it? Yes.
Adam
Wiseman. So a lot of people. He apparently with NIL money.
He was Sienna. He
followed McNamara and really helped them out tremendously. So a lot of people believe that maybe with Wiseman coming back, or with McNamara coming to Syracuse, Wiseman will come back and could really deliver some big names. The word is
John Wildhack's the one that
and he's gone.
Yeah,
but the word is that some very elite donors that are the core of the donations to not just the university but to football and basketball hate Weissman, and very high profile, right? And have threatened the school. Part of this is all about, and this is true, have threatened the school that if he's back, they're pulling all of their money out, which would basically bankrupt football and basketball. Wow. So the word is, according to a couple of people, I just want to see what Scott in Kirkville has to say about it. We'll speak to him in the 8 o'clock hour.
I am interested. I don't have any intel on this, but it's like, look, why can't we all be working toward the same end.
Yeah.
Are they upset because he outbids them and he gets
I
the
think
top
so.
sponsor package?
And what happens is he's the one on TV. He's the one everybody's talking about. Well, he's literally flying players up here.
I know.
I mean, what do we take advantage of that? All right, and then one more, because of the opening of baseball this week and the fact that Manaski is an umpire, and you've umped how many games already this year?
Just 2. My first high school game is Monday, weather permitting.
50 degrees Monday.
Looking forward to it.
Here is comedian Brian Regan.
I love Brian Regan.
On the umpire in baseball. He says that baseball umpires' reactions are so different for balls and strikes, he thinks they need to smooth it out a little bit between the two. Here it is.
I like baseball. I like the home plate umpire job. They call balls and strikes, which I think are equally important to the game. So why is an umpire's reaction to a ball or a strike so markedly different? When it's a strike, an umpire lets everybody know. But when it's a ball, sometimes an umpire don't do nothing. I'd feel bad if I was a pitcher and I put all kinds of effort into my pitch and an umpire just went, I'm gonna waste my time with this kind of nonsense. But then when it's a strike, why not split the difference in those reactions? Because when it was a ball, I didn't know anything had even transpired. And when it was a strike, I thought your chest might explode.
Boom. Baseball is back. And one more. Are you okay with a criticism?
Yes. Can I just throw one more thing in the variance? On a foul ball, both hands go in the air, and you start pointing and yelling foul and pointing toward foul ground. A fair ball in baseball, even if it lands on the line?
Yeah, just you point at it.
You just point.
This is Donna. I have a beef to pick with Jeff.
Uh-oh.
Why isn't he telling women's basketball status?
Okay. You're
gonna pull it
Syracuse is out. When the Syracuse women were in, I was giving updates.
Syracuse isn't out. Like an umpire would call a called strike 3. Syracuse is, how would you say it? They got crushed.
Yeah.
Not good.
So there's 4 games on the women's side today. Notre Dame, Vandy. Top-seeded UConn coming off that Syracuse victory against North Carolina. Another top-seed, UCLA. Smitty, do you have the inside track on this?
We'll find it. And fair enough, Don. I think that's fair enough.
I'm just wondering who Smitty has in his women's bracket. Who's going to win the tournament there?
I have UConn and UCLA in the final, and UCLA knocking off UConn.
There you go.
There you go, Donna. You demand, and we deliver. Quick break. Coming up, we'll speak with Roseanne Leparco, Master Gardener with Cornell Cooperative Extension. Are you preparing for nice weather? It is eventually coming. Yesterday was quite nice. And Davey, Obika's free money question of the day this morning is worth how much moolah?
$350.
$350 this morning. That's a doozy. We'll give you that chance at 7:35.
Hurt in a car? Call William Attar. 315-444-4444.
Don't rely on a standard off-the-shelf security system. When it comes to protecting your home, there's a big difference between plug and play and a professionally designed system. At CML Security, security is personal. Their skilled technicians meet with you one-on-one, walk your property, and design a custom system built around your family's needs. From security cameras, intrusion systems, and smart home features, they can also add a level of fire protection to their intrusion systems. They install commercial-grade equipment and provide a warranty on systems that they install. Call CML Security at 315-866-5845 today to schedule your in-home consultation. That's 315-866-5845 or visit cmlsecurity.net. Based in Herkimer, they serve the central New York area. CML Security. Call 315-866-5845. Personalized protection your family can trust.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return, but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do? My refund, though. I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
When you're due for a colonoscopy, it may not be something you look forward to, but it is one of the most important screenings you can do to protect your long-term health. Better prevention starts with staying on schedule. That's why at Community Memorial, we offer better access to colonoscopy screening with some of the shortest wait times in the area, so you can get it done and move forward with confidence. Our team includes board-certified doctors Gregory Rippich and Niels Thomas McBride, who use advanced technology designed for thorough, effective screening in a single visit. And because everything happens right here at Community Memorial, better coordination keeps the process simple. One location, one team, and clear communication from start to finish. It's all part of our commitment to delivering better access to the preventative care you need, when you need it. Learn more at communitymemorial.org. For colonoscopy screening, get better at CMH in Hamilton.
If your investments are in a 401k or an IRA, then listen carefully. You spent 30, maybe 40 years building your retirement. The question is, are you about to watch it take a hit you can't recover from? Military escalation in Iran, tariffs and legal chaos, the US dollar under pressure it hasn't seen in years. History is clear. When this much uncertainty hits at once, the investors who moved into gold and silver first came out ahead. Right now, Advantage Gold is offering a free gold investment kit and a free copy of economist Ken Rogoff's powerful new book, Our Dollar, Your Problem. Call Advantage Gold now at 800-900-8000. Thousands of Americans have already rolled over a portion of their 401k or IRA into physical gold and silver, completely tax and penalty free through Advantage Gold. Don't wait for the next surge to wish you had moved sooner. Results vary. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000.
If you've missed the Kim Commando Show, you've missed a lot.
Yeah, they forced Claude to unlearn all the information it got from the pirated technology.
And it's a $1.5 billion landmark settlement. A reader from the current newsletter sent me a note. He put his name in. He made $6,000.
That's crazy.
Yeah, not bad for getting a free newsletter.
America's digital goddess. Kim Commando.
Saturday mornings at 10 on WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
A couple of things. River Hills Properties continues to serve with high service. It's luxury service. Full-service real estate agency offering things to clients here that we normally don't get to take advantage of. From the very beginning, your team at River Hills goes to work for you, assisting you, appearing at every event that occurs, whether it's the appraisal or the inspection, all the way to the closing. And every time the house is shown, your listing agent is there. Now, they can help you if you want to become one of the Florida snowbirds. Maybe sick of the winter weather that we're dealing with here and want to spend winters in Florida, or you just want to get out of Dodge, whatever it might be. River Hills has a full team in Sarasota, Naples, Marco Island, ready to take care of you. River Hills Properties. And that's the Florida division, a full slate of agents. And then here, over 30 agents here to serve you in Barneville, Little Falls, Utica, Copenhagen, Newport, coming soon to Rome, all of upstate New York. It's River Hills Properties. Nobody sells homes like River Hills. A couple things to get to here. I don't know if you saw on the Mets game yesterday afternoon or saw the reaction to it. Davey, you saw the replay, if you will. George Washington, or the guy who played George Washington in Hamilton on Broadway, Christopher Jackson, sang the national anthem. And you would think that they'd be pretty good at it because a lot of that Hamilton is rapping. So you got to be able to put words together that are understood and very quickly.
The Broadway show?
Oh, yeah. Have you ever seen it?
No, it's
Oh yeah,
hip hop and rap.
Yes, it's a completely.
I had no idea.
I did not really. You gotta. Not my thing. Kind of not my. My wife loves the show. I wasn't. I didn't love it. Yeah, Davey's got it down.
Little surprise there, K-Dog.
Yeah, boom.
Yeah. Christopher Jackson messed up the words to the national anthem at the home opener of the Mets yesterday. He played George Washington. Here is his performance of the national anthem. Here's the audio.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
Should we stand up?
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. What so proudly we hailed.
Oh boy.
Were so gallantly streamed.
And there was another flub a little later on, too.
That's not
or the
good.
ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. The correct lyrics, or the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And then, did you have something, too? Oh, you had something about gas prices.
Smitty, I don't know. This is from your brother-in-law, and we got to find out if he's joking or not. But I just happened to, during the break there, click on to Facebook.
I think this is legitimate.
Your brother-in-law posted about 45 minutes ago. It says, if anybody needs gas, you better get over here quick before they realize that the pumps are messed up. Only charging $2.07 a gallon. It's the gas station on the corner across from... And then there's an ellipsis, the ... and it says see more, and you can't see more. And then somebody commented below, I was just there, and they shut the pump off after me. Sorry. Go ahead. What's that?
I think it's a joke.
You think it's a joke?
I think it is a joke, too, because where it says where it's located,
whatever
it's cut
it is,
off.
Even if it... okay, that's probably
it. Says it's on the corner across from ...
I took it as legitimate.
I thought it was at first, too.
Here
down
is,
the road here, I don't know what happened, but one of our local gas stations lowered prices like 20 cents overnight. I don't
think
know
they're
why.
getting pressure. So that's the fast track right down here.
Yes.
I think they're getting pressure from the burned dairy over here, where the prices have been 20 cents lower since they opened up.
I do think that's true, but again, yesterday they were charging like $3.89. I think this morning it's down to $3.61. I think I saw posted.
Jawick also this morning. Yankees and Mets, like the Bills, they play okay, but flop in the playoffs. And then
only one team wins. So.
And then Big Honey, by saying Utica got robbed because the refs were making calls, is saying Utica can only score on the power play. Unfortunately, they got steamrolled. Well, they did at the end, but what I was saying is it was a close game right up until that point, and then all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
The game was far closer than, and I believe one of those, or even maybe two, were empty net goals.
Yeah, I think there were two empty netters at the end.
So it was a close game. I just think the physicality of Wisconsin, in some cases, went too far, and the calls weren't made. And, that can change the flow of any game. Because it was, even shots on goal were like deadlocked in the first period. And then Utica ultimately outshot them 42 to 20 or something like that. So it is what it is. Today, Hamilton plays 3 p.m. Adirondack Bank Center. The Frozen Four is in Utica. 727 on the line right now is Roseanne Leparco. She's a master gardener with Cornell Cooperative Extension. Roseanne, good morning.
Good morning. I'm so glad I missed the beginning of the Met game. I guess
yes, that was a little rough.
I mean, it's bad enough I needed a program and a cheat sheet to figure everybody out. I'm not going to be the same without Nimmo. So
I know.
Whatever. Okay, that's my little Met grievance. There.
And listen, I'm with you there. I feel like this is 1983, 84, 85, when the Mets, they brought in some of the veterans and they brought in new players. They brought some new players up, and you didn't recognize anybody. And then all of a sudden, they started winning. And listen, Gary Carter had been with the Mets for 20 years, I think. Didn't he come up in the farm system?
No, he was with the Expos.
I'm joking.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But by 86, he was a Met.
Oh yeah.
Right? And that's my point. So.
Well, let's hope so. But I definitely needed a cheat sheet to figure out who everybody was.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
too early to garden, so we could talk baseball, but too early to garden.
Well, I got to tell you, you know what? It brought me outside yesterday.
Yeah.
And I looked at some, because now you're watching the game, you're sitting out, the sun's kind of in and out, but it's still, climbing up near 70 degrees yesterday.
It was nice.
And I'm looking around, and I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to pull that out because the weeds have just overtaken it. I'm going to dig this out, replant something else. And that was this is where I was yesterday, in a dig out mode, in that the stuff that has been overtaken that I don't know that I've been able to save in the last 2 or 3 years, I think it's time to freshen up and give it a whole new look. That's what I did yesterday.
And in fact, this is the perfect time to be planning and thinking, making your list, because of the winter we had, when everything is ready to roll, it's going to be crazy. Everybody's going to be out wanting to buy their stuff. So this is a perfect time to kind of assess what you want to do this year. Just resist the urge to start digging. I know I saw one of my neighbors starting to dig out plants. I mean, she had to have a mess with how wet the ground is, but resist the urge to start working, because the ground is not workable yet. That's the word that we use, is it needs to be workable, which means that it needs to be semi-dry. You want it to warm up a little bit, but as soon as it's workable, you can start planting things like trees and shrubs, your fruit trees. In fact, I was at Lowe's yesterday, and the fruit trees are out already. They've got some trees out, those are the things that you can start planting now. But you have to resist the urge to jump in there yet. But you can start cleaning up debris. The big thing is start assessing your shrubs and trees for winter damage, because you can start light pruning right now. Like evergreens, for example, you could prune anytime. Trees and shrubs you can prune, with the exception, be careful with flowering shrubs, because if you don't prune at the right time, for example, if you prune something now, like a lilac is a great example, you could potentially cut off the blooms because the blooms are overwintering. For blooming trees and shrubs, the general rule of thumb is don't prune until right after they bloom, because it gets too complicated and you can inadvertently cut off the blooms. That's especially important. I just wrote an article for the OD and the Rome Sentinel about pruning hydrangeas, because hydrangeas, people make many mistakes with hydrangeas and then say, gee, I didn't get any hydrangea blooms this year. Well, chances are, there's the issue of fertilizing, but a lot of times people want to cut them back, and depending on the type of hydrangea you have, you don't want to cut them back because you're literally cutting the blooms for the following year.
Yeah.
So you want to be careful with that. With Easter coming up, people are going to get plants for gifts. Just keep in mind that a lot of the blooming ones, like I saw some beautiful blooming hydrangeas, and they're wonderful, but just be careful when you go to plant them outside. Remember that many of those blooming Easter plants have been forced to bloom early so that there's something to show. And so when you do put them outside, those you want to wait until after danger of frost, because those blooms are very tender. And unfortunately, since I'm on the topic of hydrangeas, Easter hydrangeas are very popular to give as gifts. When you do go to plant them outside, there is the chance and the likelihood that they're not bud hardy for this area.
Okay.
So they may not bloom again for you, but they'll make a beautiful shrub. They will grow. Some of them with a little coaxing might have small blooms, but just don't be disappointed, in other words, if your Easter hydrangea that you decide to plant in the ground doesn't bloom for you. in the ground. It's because they're usually a type that's not bud hardy for our area.
All right, one last quickie here before we let you go.
I got one too.
Okay, we got a couple. Okay, so you have an indoor plant, like let's say it happens to be a lemon tree, like my wife has. And yesterday's a nice day. It's kind of sunny. Do you roll that out onto the patio and let it spend the day and then bring it back in? Or do you not disrupt it until you can leave it out?
Well, you do want to do what they call hardening off, which is exactly what you're talking about. You put it out for a little while, and then you bring it in. Because to go specifically from inside to outside all at once, you could potentially shock the plant, and you'll see dropping leaves. Some of them will turn yellow. Some plants get so shocked that they literally can die back. So what you're doing is good. Do a slow hardening off, but just make sure you bring them inside when the temperatures start dropping below 55, 60.
I don't mean to correct you, but I didn't do it. I was told to do it. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. I'll confirm it for you tomorrow. You shouldn't do that. But apparently, I'm wrong.
You want to do what's called hardening off.
All right.
For anything that you have. Even if I have a lot of things, I overwinter perennials. And so they're starting, believe it or not, to get little sprouts. I'm going to start weaning them outside for a couple hours, 2-3 hours, bring them back in a little bit longer on the nice days. We got a little bit of a roller coaster going on right now.
Yeah, this next 2 days and then 50 on Sunday. So crazy. Been asking.
Let's see here. This is from a listener. When should I start pumpkin plants inside? And what should I use for weed control before and during the season?
For pumpkin plants, in fact, I have had a list here for pumpkins. Let's see. I think those can be, not until towards the end of April, because those will start sprouting rather quickly. You can go as early as, say, mid-March. So we're getting into the really good time frame for a lot of seeds. So I would recommend mid-March. And if you want some guidance on seed starting, we are going to be at the Munson Spring Festival, and we're giving a seed starting class on Saturday, April 11th at 11 o'clock over at Munson. We'll have all kinds of tips for starting your seeds. As far as weed control, that's a tough one in a vegetable garden. The best thing I can recommend that we've used at the extension when we had vegetable beds is, first of all, try to clean the bed as best you can, and then look for products with corn gluten. Like, for example, preen is probably the most recognizable, but it is a weed preventer, which means you have to clean all the weeds out first and then put down the preen. And you could probably get a season's worth out of a product like that. During the season, you have to be careful. There are products that are safe for vegetable gardens. They're usually using things with like clove oil or cinnamon oil. You'll get a nice smell while you're using it. Some use orange oil, so look for products. I don't like to promote one single product, but when I worked at Bonide Products, we had a product called Burnout that we used to talk about. Those kinds of products are good in between the rows in the vegetable garden. You got to be careful with weed killers in the vegetable garden. Read the product label carefully.
All right, Roseanne, we appreciate it as always. We're getting there. Although I got to tell you, talking about pumpkins, a little too early. I forget they have to be planted by seed, though.
I mean, you could go now. The bigger the seed, which pumpkins are in that category, you can plant outside. But the downside is they have a long growing time frame. So I'm sure your listener wants to start the plants earlier so you can get your pumpkins earlier.
Smart.
Just a quick, tomorrow is our fruit and berry workshop at Romartin Community Center. It goes from 9 to 1. It's $30 per person, and spaces are still open. You can call Holly Wise at the extension at 315-736-3394, and it's extension 125 to sign up. We'd love to see you there. I'll be there. And I'll be at the Munson, myself, I'll be giving a presentation at Munson on tips for environmentally friendly gardens, and that's on Friday, April 10th from 2 to 3. You can register by going to Munson's website.
All right. Okay, Roseanne, thank you as always. We appreciate it.
All right.
Have a good
one.
one.
Have a good rest of your day.
Enjoy the weekend. Thank you.
All right, you too.
Mike, how about I saw a little garden snake sunning himself a couple of days ago. My wife would have me chasing that thing with a shovel, which, they say it's good for your garden, but not for your wife.
Yeah.
Good for your garden, not for your wife. And then Nick Lombarda says, happy gardening, but mowing grass is the extent of my gardening. And I don't even do that anymore.
The first half of that, I'm with him. That's the extent of mine. My gardening is mowing, and I have my share. So,
okay, it's Hobika's free money question of the day. We're going to give you a chance after Manaski's news, and it's worth this morning $350. We'll get to it coming up at WIBX.
If you're nearing retirement, stop what you're doing and listen, because what's unfolding right now could hit your 401k or IRA harder than anything we've seen in years. Military escalation across the Middle East, a tariff war spilling into the courts, the U.S. dollar facing pressure that historically signals one thing: a flight to safety. Smart money has been moving into gold and silver, and it's not slowing down. Call Advantage Gold right now at 800-900-8000 and get your free gold investment kit, plus a free copy of economist Ken Rogoff's eye-opening book, Our Dollar, Your Problem. Thousands of Americans have already rolled over a portion of their retirement savings into physical gold and silver, completely tax and penalty-free through Advantage Gold. The next news cycle won't wait for you. Get into position now. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Results vary. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000.
Don't rely on a standard off-the-shelf security system. When it comes to protecting your home, there's a big difference between plug and play and a professionally designed system. At CML Security, security is personal. Their skilled technicians meet with you one-on-one, walk your property, and design a custom system built around your family's needs. From security cameras, intrusion systems, and smart home features, they can also add a level of fire protection to their intrusion systems. They install commercial-grade equipment and provide a warranty on systems that they install. Call CML Security at 315-866-5845 today to schedule your in-home consultation. That's 315-866-5845, or visit cmlsecurity.net. Based in Herkimer, they serve the central New York area. CML Security. Call 315-866-5845. Personalized protection your family can trust.
Mostly cloudy skies and 30 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM News Time 742. The U.S. is reportedly working with a group of mediators in the Middle East to end the war in Iran. President Trump had given Iran until Friday to open the Strait of Hormuz or face an attack on its energy infrastructure. But on Thursday, he extended that deadline by 10 days. White House envoy Steve Witkoff said Pakistan, Egypt, and Turkey have agreed to mediate talks between the U.S. and Iran. The Senate approving a funding package for the Department of Homeland Security that does not include money for ICE. The Senate's overnight vote is a step toward ending what could be the longest funding lapse of any federal agency in history. The U.S. could vote on the measure before the end of the day today. A Florida man is accused of planting an explosive device outside of MacDill Air Force Base in Tampa. The Justice Department announcing that Alan Zhang planted the device at a visitor's center 2 weeks ago, but it never went off. Federal officials say the 20-year-old has since fled to China. The runway at New York's LaGuardia Airport back open after it was shut down by a deadly plane crash. Runway 4 reopened yesterday after the Air Canada regional jet involved in Sunday's collision was finally towed away. The plane had slammed into an airport fire truck that was on the tarmac during landing, killing both the pilot and the co-pilot. And Hollywood studios are in a bidding war to produce Tom Hanks' new baseball movie. The Comebacker stars Hanks as the coach of a major league pitcher whose life changes when he's hit in the head by a line drive. Variety is reporting that Bad Bunny and Oscar nominee Coleman Domingo might be joining the cast, and that 3 studios are competing, offering high dollars for their chance to produce it. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time 744. Here is your Weather Center forecast.
As I mentioned yesterday, maybe some wet snowflakes here early this morning, but most of us now have seen the precipitation come to an end. It's either a raindrop or a snowflake, otherwise cloudy, and then developing sunshine and a cold day today. Upper 30s tonight, clear and cold 20. North Country, teens. Sunshine tomorrow, only 32. Little rain and snow Saturday night, partly sunny, 45 on Sunday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stejik, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Still falling, now 29 degrees at 7:45.
Okay, Davey, it is time to do Hobeika's free money question of the day. And this morning, this question is worth $350. And you right now are looking for caller number...
caller 6.
This is your last chance to win in... No, we have 2 days of March on Monday. Caller number what?
6.
6 caller right now, 318. Don't ask him twice. He gets annoyed. 6th caller at 315. 7th, hopefully you have the 6th sense to answer correctly. Caller 6, 315. 7360186. We do it next on WIBX.
Don't overpay for your next mattress. Mattress Express is upstate New York's largest specialty bedding retailer. Bring in any locally advertised price on a brand we carry. We will beat the price. Call 1-800-NEW-BEDS or go to mattressexpressny.com.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return, but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Don't rely on a standard off-the-shelf security system. When it comes to protecting your home, there's a big difference between plug and play and a professionally designed system. At CML Security, security is personal. Their skilled technicians meet with you one-on-one, walk your property, and design a custom system built around your family's needs. From security cameras, intrusion systems, and smart home features, they can also add a level of fire protection to their intrusion systems. They install commercial-grade equipment and provide a warranty on systems that they install. Call CML Security at 315-866-5845 today to schedule your in-home consultation. That's 315-866-5845 or visit cmlsecurity.net. Based in Herkimer, they serve the central New York area. CML Security. Call 315-866-5845. Personalized protection your family can trust.
Join us for Come to the Table, a truly special fundraising evening happening Friday, April 17th from 5:30 to 9 p.m. at the beautiful Harts Hill Inn. Experience stunning one-of-a-kind tablescapes designed by talented local artists, themed basket drawings, unique silent auction items, and a lively cocktail hour from 5:30 to 6:30. Enjoy exceptional food stations and desserts from Harts Hill Inn, all leading up to an exciting live auction hosted by MC Susan Nackley Mojave. For tickets and information, call 315-724-1718.
These are uncertain times. Ongoing geopolitical tensions in the Middle East and beyond continue to shake global markets, driving up energy costs and creating widespread volatility. Gold has responded as history shows it does, climbing to new highs as a proven safe haven against inflation and unrest. Silver follows strong, offering even more protection for diversified portfolios. Call True Gold Republic at 800-300-GOLD for your free guide on protecting your retirement. If you're 55 or older, approaching or enjoying retirement, and have significant savings, you understand why stability matters now more than ever. Paper assets can vanish in a crisis, but precious metals have endured for generations. True Gold Republic helps Americans like you protect what you've built with real gold and silver IRAs. Call 800-300-GOLD for your free wealth protection guide today. No obligation, just information. Consult your tax professional before investing. Call 800-300-4653. That's 800-300-GOLD.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return, but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
It all began in 1985 with a single goal, a commitment to brighten our community. And with your kindness, that light grew brighter. Because for 40 years, you've helped Food Bank of Central New York deliver healthy food and hope. But that need continues to grow. So this year, please consider giving a little extra and make sure the light we shine together never goes out.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
We got a bunch of comments this morning we'll get to coming up. Also some interesting stuff to fill in all morning long. We have a big one. Scott and Kirkville we're going to get to, and there's some stories coming out of Syracuse with Syracuse basketball and McNamara that are a bit on the mind-blowing side. They may not necessarily be good. Kerry Tibbetts Maple Farm, Craig Muter, Baseball Hall of Fame. Baseball is back. We have a performance coming up. There's a ZZ Top band playing, a cover band playing in Little Falls over the weekend, and we'll do a little unplugged version of that.
Okay.
All right. And Joe Benson with the Comets. This weekend, Pioneers are hosting, even though not playing. Hamilton College is the home team starting today at 3 p.m. for the Frozen Four at the Adirondack Bank Center. So a lot to get to before we get out of here this morning. A lot.
Absolutely.
Right now, there's $350 on the line, $350. Paul is in Rome. Good morning, Paul. Good morning.
Good morning.
Are you ready for this?
Well, I hope so.
I hope so, too. All right. This is the free money question of the day from the Hobeika Law Firm. Joseph and Andrew Hobeika. Phone number for your legal needs is 315-724-1600. All right, here we go. This comes from the category mathematics.
I was going to say, I think I can help today. Maybe I can.
Mathematics and geography.
I don't think I can help.
Yeah, put them together. So this is not easy, but think about it, don't panic, and come up with one answer before the buzzer. Are you ready, Paul?
Okay.
Officially, if you take the number of Finger Lakes and add the number of Great Lakes, what is your total number? Ready, go.
11.
Okay. 11 is your answer.
11's my answer.
All right. If you, the number of, so let's see if you got there. The number of Great Lakes is
5.
And the number of Finger Lakes.
Well, I'm guessing I'm wrong.
Yeah, number of Finger Lakes is 11. So that's why I thought you had it. Darn it all. So
there are 11 Finger Lakes.
There are 11 officially 11 Finger Lakes.
Holy cow!
And 5 officially. Some will say 6. So you could have gotten away with 17 maybe, but 11 Finger Lakes, 5 Great Lakes, which the number we were looking for was 16.
Wow.
Yeah. Do you want to know all of them?
I've never heard of some of these.
Okay. You're getting the same answer I'm getting, right?
Yeah.
Seneca, Cayuga, Skaneateles, Owasco, Keuka, Canandaigua, Conesus, Hemlock, Kent. These are the ones I've never heard of. Otisco. Is it Otisco? Otisco. And technically, not one of the 11, the 12th sometimes is considered Oneida Lake, but we didn't include that one.
Yes, it's called the Thumb.
Yeah.
Also, two you didn't mention, Canadice, I guess is how that's said, and Honeyo? No, Canandaigua, Bill already mentioned.
Honeoye. Honeyo, I don't know. Honeoye. These are all Indian, Native American names. All right, that was a tough one. It's one you'd have to know, but man, you knew. You just didn't even wait. You knew it was 11. At least.
Yeah, I knew wrong.
Yeah, at least you knew wrong. All right, listen, we're going to give you movie passes to Glenwood Movieplex and Rome Cinema 8. And stand by. Davey's going to hook you up, okay?
Have a great day. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Paul. We have Manaski here to verify the questions. This was a doozy.
Yeah, that is a tough one. I never would have got 16.
So I think, what do they use? Home, Home.
Oh, really?
S for the 5 Great Lakes, and then you have the Finger Lakes on top of all of that. Although I think, to be honest with you, I think there might be some debate over maybe there's actually 6 and not 5 Great Lakes. But nonetheless, it is what it is. It was actually one of the Jeopardy questions this week. This week, every question, I was only here for 2 days. So 2 of the questions that I asked this week came from this week's Jeopardy. And that stinking guy won again. He's now at like $275,000. He's won 10 straight games.
Wow.
And like literally wipes the board clean. And there have been some close games, but he continues to win. It's pretty wild.
Good for him.
All right, any comments you have in there? Nobody yelling about YouTube today because we've been covering your comments on YouTube.
Yes, even though sometimes they're out of context and they don't seem to make a world of sense. We are trying to incorporate
How are you doing,
them.
Bob? You know, because there's like a conversation going on within that YouTube community. They're conversing back and forth in the chat. You know, by the way, you just search Keeler live stream and you'll get it.
And Lance and Lee told me, you played part of the national anthem that was botched yesterday at the Mets home opener. So I stood and took my hat off while it was playing, and Lance says, Jeff, it's time, just shave it off, man. I don't know what you're holding on to there.
I don't. If anybody should, it probably would be me, but I don't do that. Davey does it really well. He handles it well. Michael Jordan handles it well.
Yes.
Not every person handles the complete shaven look. Like Joe Rogan? I don't think so.
No?
No, I don't. I don't like the look.
Yeah.
Like I said so many times before.
Davey, we like your look. You've got the look.
I miss going to the beautician.
Look at that. I think you just kind of miss her, to be honest.
Well, she was kind of cute. Now she doesn't do hair anymore.
Okay. All right. 58-year-old drunk man in Florida drove through a gate. I don't know if you saw the video on this.
No.
I don't know what this guy... Some people, when they become so inebriated, completely lose their mind. And they do things that maybe they wouldn't normally do. Like, you know what? I'm going to the Daytona Beach Airport, and I'm going to steal an airplane. And he literally was running out onto the airfield, almost colliding with the plane, then tried to jump aboard the aircraft, and then they finally got to him. Here is audio.
Is that an active runway there? Yeah. What's the deal, man?
I don't remember. I was at my house.
Said they had a bunch of drugs,
I went to an AA meeting. Next thing I know, I'm doing cocaine, drinking, and smoking pot.
There you go. Paul McCartney has a new album coming out, and it'll be out in May. The first single is out, Days We Left Behind. Does Paul McCartney still have it?
'Cause nothing stays the same, and no one needs to cry. blame for the days we left behind.
I don't know, does he?
The days we left behind.
I guess if anybody does, he does. So
listen, at 83, he sounds incredible.
I know.
Number one. Number two, we live in a musical world today where so much is auto-tune.
Yes.
He's not auto-tuned.
I don't think so. No. Today is National Joe Day.
Cup of Joe?
It's National Joe Day. I think you take it however you like. If your name is Joe, then
Uncle Joe Day? I have an Uncle Joe.
I would think that Joe Day would have been back with St. Joseph's Day.
Yeah.
2 days after St. Patrick's Day. Or maybe it's National Coffee Day. Either way, today is National Joe Day. And on another flight story, a woman is going viral after she said that she was expecting to take a short flight from South Bend, Indiana to Chicago through American Airlines, but was shocked when she realized the bus at the gate wasn't taking her to a plane. It was taking her to her destination. They were taking her on a bus.
I went to the airport. It was like a regular flight to me. I'm looking for my gate in South Bend Airport. So I saw on my boarding pass that we were leaving from gate 10. And I'm like, I've never been there. It looked different than the other gates. It's finally time to board. I'm lining up.
She is on her way for a bus ride.
Yeah.
Today is also National Whiskey Day. If you know anybody named Whiskey, National Whiskey Day.
Sip.
From the WB Payne Insurance Studios, your news talk leader since 1925. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now the latest from Fox News.
This is a Fox News alert. The Senate acts unanimously to end a 42-day stalemate. I'm Dave Anthony.
Republicans funded the Department of Homeland Security piecemeal. It's not the way to fund the department, Mr. President. But we were out of time.
Senate Republican leader John Thune, after the bill passed at about 2:30 this morning, most of DHS will get funded, but not immigration enforcement within ICE or Border Patrol.
Democrats held firm in our opposition that Donald Trump's rogue and deadly militia should not get more funding without serious reforms.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, the House, will consider this funding bill in a few hours. It would finally pay thousands of essential workers, including TSA agents. Some aren't showing up, leading to hours-long airport security lines.
This has been 5 weeks of torture for these poor folks that are coming to work, not getting paid.
Chris Sununu heads up the organization Airlines for America and tells Fox President Trump's plan to finally pay these agents by executive order prompted the Senate to finally act.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, more Americans in a Fox News poll are giving the president a thumbs down.
This poll shows President Trump's job approval rating at 41%, down from 43% last month. On the economy, only 1/4 of respondents say it is in good or excellent shape.
Fox's Gernal Scott, this is the Iran conflict rages on. The president insists Iran badly wants to make a deal to end it. He tells Fox's The Five he made a deal to delay for 10 days his threat to bomb Iran's power grid unless Iran opens the Strait of Hormuz. It did let some oil ships through.
They asked for 7. You're going to say, oh, Trump's a terrible negotiator. They asked for 7. And I said, I'm going to give you 10.
Meanwhile, Fox's Matt Finn reports from Dubai.
The Wall Street Journal first reported, and Fox News confirms that the Trump administration is considering sending in 10,000 U.S. soldiers here to the Middle East. That would be in addition to the 1,500 troops that are going to possibly be deployed from the 82nd Airborne.
America's listening to Fox News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-809-7171. That's 800-809-7171.
A small business affirmation from Progressive. Food truck owners, today business will be booming. People will love your new menu and not make special orders. You will not roll your eyes when someone calls it a quesadilla. You will also switch to Progressive to get 30 customizable coverage options and restore your inner peace. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and covered selections.
Well, as that Fox News poll has President Trump's approval down to 41%, there will be a loud anti-Trump outcry tomorrow.
This Saturday, no Kings protests are planned across the country, with more than 3,000 event locations listed on the website. An Indivisible co-founder said there's no set of policy demands or a specific platform, that they anticipate people to be motivated to come out by a number of issues, including immigration, the conflict with Iran, or what she claimed was an administration attack on civil rights. The ACLU estimated more than 7 million people joined No Kings rallies the last time they were held in October, and organizers anticipate even more participants to show up Saturday. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
And those anti-Trumpers probably won't like what's coming to cash. The Treasury Department's planning to put President Trump's signature on all paper currency. That's a first for any president, replacing the signature on the Treasurer of the United States. Venezuela's ousted leader, captured by the U.S. military in January, Nicolas Maduro, returned to court in New York along with his wife in a drug and narco-terrorism case.
In court, the defense demanded the case be thrown out, but federal judge Alvin Hellerstein refused. Maduro's lawyers want his legal fees to be paid by Venezuela, but prosecutors object, saying Maduro plundered the wealth of Venezuela and should now not benefit from it. Judge Hellerstein has not yet ruled on the money issue, and a date for Maduro's trial has not been set. In Manhattan Federal Court, I'm Eric Shawn, Fox News.
On Wall Street, the selling may continue this morning. Dow futures down more than 100 points the day after the Dow plunged 469. More March Madness last night.
Smith puts it up. No, the follow. It's good with .7 left.
That last-second shot won the game for Purdue on CBS, beating Texas 79-77 to advance to the Elite Eight of the NCAA Men's College Basketball Tournament. A number 1 regional seed, Arizona, also advanced. So did Iowa, a number 9 seed, and Illinois, with 4 more games tonight. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
We have mostly cloudy skies, 29 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 8:05. This news update brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica on Commercial Drive in Yorkville. Testimony will be wrapping up for the week in the trial of Jonah Levy. He is a former Mid-State Correctional Facility officer who is accused of being involved in the beating death of 22-year-old inmate Messiah Nantwi last year. Yesterday, jurors heard from another former corrections officer and a paramedic who found Nantwi lying on the floor of the infirmary and told the court that he had no pulse. If convicted, Levy faces up to 25 years to life in prison. A Rome man admits in federal court that he enticed a minor and received child pornography. John Secor Jr. pleaded guilty this week in the Northern District of New York. As part of that deal, he admitted that in May of 2025, he began chatting online with a 16-year-old girl, and that conversation occurred on Facebook. Secor's chats with the girl quickly became sexual, and he requested sexually explicit images and videos. The charge of enticing a minor carries a mandatory minimum sentence of 10 years in federal prison or a maximum of life, and he will face an additional 5 to 20 years on charges of receiving child pornography. He's due to be sentenced in July. Rome police releasing details about an incident on West Dominic Street this week where a man was outside of the Well Now location with a baseball bat. Officers exited their patrol vehicles and attempted to engage the man, but they say he became irate and began swinging the bat in the air and then advanced toward officers while making threatening gestures. Ultimately, that man ran off on foot. He was later captured, identified as Eric Hastings. He now faces charges of menacing a police officer and criminal possession of a weapon. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time. Coming up on 8:08, here is a look at your Weather Center forecast.
As I mentioned yesterday, maybe some wet snowflakes here early this morning, but most of us now have seen the precipitation come to an end. It's either a raindrop or a snowflake, otherwise cloudy, and then developing sunshine and a cold day today, upper 30s. Tonight, clear and cold, 20. North Country, teens. Sunshine tomorrow, only 32. But rain and snow Saturday night, partly sunny, 45 on Sunday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stejik, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Cloudy skies, maybe some light rain depending on your location. Right now, 29 degrees at 8:08. All right, in sports, the Mets, nobody's better on opening day. than the New York Metropolitans, and they picked up another victory in their 2026 opener yesterday, the final 11-7, as they beat Paul Skeens and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Francisco Alvarez and Carson Bench went back-to-back in the 6th. The Mets now 1-0. They're off today. They'll take on Pittsburgh again tomorrow. The Yankees were off Thursday. They resumed their season-opening series against the Giants in San Francisco. Right-hander Cam Schlittler expected to toe the rubber for the Yankees today. 4 teams clinching their spot in the Elite Eight. Number 9, Iowa. Number 3, Illinois. Number 2, Purdue. And number 1, Arizona all advanced to the round of 8. The Sweet 16 resumes today with 4 more games on tap. By the time Sunday rolls around, we will have a Final Four in the NCAA men's basketball tournament.
Let's just talk one thing real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
Go
I don't
ahead.
know if this is in the sports there that I printed up. You remember Will Wade? He was the North Carolina coach. He did it for 1 season. Then he was at McNeese State. He was the former coach at LSU. He got fired back in 2022. So now, after 1 season at U.S. and North Carolina State, he got hired back at LSU yesterday.
Yeah, I see. Later fired amid an NCAA probe that left the program with serious sanctions. LSU will have to pay NC State a buyout of $4 million to bring Wade back to Baton Rouge. So what happened? Were the allegations not true?
No. So LSU's going to is going to be dishing out a lot of money. They're still paying Brian Kelly after his fire, and they're still going to have to be paying Matt McMahon, the former basketball coach that Will Wade is replacing. So this is bizarre. This is a bizarre story. So a lot of rumors going around that I've seen on social media late last night and early this morning is that possibly Hubert Davis, the former North Carolina coach, maybe he'll come to North Carolina State.
Yeah, it could be. I wanted to mention as well today the Frozen Four of the NCAA Division III men's hockey tournament gets underway at the Adirondack Bank Center in the city of Utica. You have Hamilton taking on Aurora this afternoon. The puck drops at 3 o'clock. Tonight, it's undefeated Hobart taking on Wisconsin Stout. The winner of today's contest will play on Sunday in the Division III National Championship game. Again, it's at the Adirondack Bank Center. That's the National Championship game Sunday at 3. But Hamilton today at 3, and then undefeated Hobart tonight at 7.
A lot of out-of-town, out-of-state people in town this weekend for that. Pretty cool event.
So, okay, Hamilton and Utica were never going to play, though.
No.
They could only meet in the championship game.
Correct.
If they were to play.
Yep.
Okay, because
Hamilton, or if Utica won, they would have been playing Hobart.
We were talking about, you had mentioned the Wisconsin team was quite physical, and I was wondering how Hamilton would match up against them, but I guess we could see that matchup Sunday.
Possible. Yeah. The Falcon Clinic, Washington Mills, is the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic, and they're accepting new patients as we speak. And part of that is because they've added Dr. Cheryl Mattern, who is from the area and was practicing out of town, but has decided to come home. And you can get an appointment pretty quickly if you're looking for a new primary physician. Dr. Shamileski, Dr. Zielinski, also accepting patients. Dr. Kosminski, acupuncturist, and others, all under one roof at the Falcon Clinic. You need a second opinion. You need a new family doctor. Whatever it is you're looking for, the Falcon Clinic is there, and that includes what is called OMT, osteopathic manipulation treatment. I do it every month with Dr. Zielinski, and it's kind of a game changer to make sure everything is working properly, everything's flowing. It's like going to the chiropractor, but it's about 30 minutes. It's an extensive version of that, and somewhat gentle too. So it's not like you're being cracked all over the place. Really good. Everybody that does it swears by it, and almost always, as far as I know, schedules an appointment for next month and the month after. It's the Falcon Clinic. Call 315-507-4751. We'll speak with Scott. There's an interesting story out of Syracuse with McNamara coming for basketball. Scott in Kirkville is coming up next, and he'll give some picks for you going into the weekend or into tonight's games. There's some room for a big upset yesterday and room for maybe an upset tonight. Will Patino pull the upset? Is that possible? We'll find out, obviously, tonight, but we'll speak with Scott on that coming right up.
Don't rely on a standard off-the-shelf security system. When it comes to protecting your home, there's a big difference between plug and play and a professionally designed system. At CML Security, security is personal. Their skilled technicians meet with you one-on-one, walk your property, and design a custom system built around your family's needs. From security cameras, intrusion systems, and smart home features, they can also add a level of fire protection to their intrusion systems. They install commercial-grade equipment and provide a warranty on systems that they install. Call CML Security at 315-866-5845 today to schedule your in-home consultation. That's 315-866-5845 or visit cmlsecurity.net. Based in Herkimer, they serve the central New York area. CML Security. Call 315-866-5845. Personalized protection your family can trust.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Start your Sunday with smart conversation and fresh perspective. It's This Weekend with Gordon Deal. Gordon brings you the news, interviews, and stories that matter most from across the country and right here in central New York. Join listeners from Utica to Rome, Herkimer to New Hartford, and everywhere in between for This Weekend with Gordon Deal. Sunday mornings at 7 on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM. Stay informed with WIBX.
Hurt in a car? Call William Attar. 315-444-4444.
Is your business the best at what you do? Then you should be a Central New York's Industry Ace. Our Industry Aces are made up of the best businesses in the region, and will help you tell your story to thousands of consumers in the Mohawk Valley. With a combination of on-air and online testimonial commercials, along with targeted social media ads that are guaranteed to reach the consumers you want to be talking to. And best of all, these messages are coming directly from you. Interested in learning more? Contact Megan Powers at 315-768-9500.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
By the way, you can still get tickets for that Hamilton game today, Pros and 4, or any of the games this weekend at, what is it?
Empire State Tix.
EmpireStateTix.com. TIX.com is the website. It's where you get your Comets tickets and Pioneers tickets as well. On the line right now is Scott in Kirkville. Scott, good morning.
Good morning. Hey, first of all, I have to give out a shout-out to Jane, the barber from Ilion. She's retiring. I've been going to her for 44 years. Yep, she's the best cutter for natural curly hair and crazy eyebrows. So, congratulations to her. I used to try to hit her when her husband was home in the summer on Saturdays, because if they're barbecuing, I get a burger, a beer, and a haircut. It was perfect.
Okay, all right.
Timing's everything. And just one thing about her husband. You know, way back, I guess he stayed home on Fridays because we play at the Y in Mohawk. You never want him to guard you, or you have to guard him, because he would run around and everybody else is still trying to recover from Friday. So you can tell he was married and everybody else was single.
Okay.
Come started at the Y.
Got it.
Hey, do I hear right? Chuck Lester's now no longer in the primary for the Ilion job?
That is true. Yeah.
Oh, he dropped out?
He wasn't running for mayor. He wasn't running for mayor.
Yeah. Well, this movie Rebel without a primary, I guess, is still up there. So it's a political stuff. And Howard Potter's book I heard is doing well. I'm a foiler, not a spoiler. I heard he's doing pretty good.
Okay, I'll give you one for that one. That one works.
And
the other one I didn't get at all. But
you like that the Rebel without a primary, Chuck Lester? Okay,
well, I mean, I get it. I just don't get how it becomes a joke. But I got to tell you that the Howard Potter. That's
like
funny.
That one, huh?
Yeah, I like it.
And they're having troubles in Ilion with the chickens because they don't want to cross the road because they keep falling in the potholes.
Okay.
So
that's
a problem there, too.
Well, what do we give you for that?
All right.
Good question. Chuck Lester's out of the race?
Yeah, they're both. He was running with with
Lamica?
Yes, and they're both out.
They lost their primary, or
no,
they just decided they don't want to run?
Decided not to.
Brian decided not to run, Jeff.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
It's a lot of commitment, right?
Yeah, you have to be a resident of Ilion? I think I can win. I think I get 200 votes.
I think you probably have to be a resident.
Okay.
But listen,
look,
you can say you're
city
a
of Utica.
Yeah, anything can happen. All right. I wanted to ask,
you don't even have to live in the county. You can live in a neighboring county.
That is
Forget
true.
the city.
I wanted to ask you, I'm hearing out of Syracuse and I'll get your take on McNamara. And I do think you in the beginning said there's no way it'll be McNamara.
No, I said that it wasn't me because I said there isn't one. The upcoming, it was a bad year for upcoming coaches if you're going to move up, and you usually have to win it. Now he's made more out of a loss than he has a win.
I agree. I think he's I think he could be, the franchise coach for Syracuse. I hope that's the case. But I do believe he has the potential. But listen, this is what I'm hearing on NIL, that the waste management guy, Weitzman.
Yeah, Weitzman,
And that because he was supporting McNamara and Sienna, a lot of people think, well, now that McNamara is coming back to Syracuse and there's a new AD, maybe this opens the door for him to come back and spend some money. Word that I've gotten from a couple of people is that the very, very wealthy donors to Syracuse, which not only support the university, but basketball especially, and football. Hold on.
Don't want them. Well, a family of two.
They don't want him. No. And if he comes back, they're pulling their money, which is far greater than what Weitzman gives. And do you believe that's true?
Yeah, no, that there's a family that's donated, not just for donated to build facilities. Basically, they said that if he's come, Wiseman has a little shady background. If you really want to go into his background,
well, I mean, I think there was a lot of talk that there were rules being broken when NCAA rules when he was was working with Syracuse.
Yeah, no, he was a rogue. He brought in a singer, and anybody that was in the vicinity of 3 sections know what they were doing at halftime. So I don't
know what that means.
I don't either.
Well, you go outside. Let's put it that way.
Okay. All right. Okay.
No, he had his own. He floated his own boat, and they asked him to kind of tone it down a little bit, and he went with McNamara. Now, supposedly, I heard that the NIL was $680,000 total that was spent at Siena. I don't know how much was his.
I'll say this though.
NIL total.
I will say this that this new AD is said to be able to raise some money, and just the fact that McNamara is back and that nostalgia of a national championship could certainly help raise the money that could make Syracuse more competitive. I guess we'll have to see. Right? We'll see what happens.
4,400 people. Wasn't that coincidence? They announced it on Tuesday. It was a fundraiser for the university, and 4,400 people contribute in the name of the basketball.
Wow!
So they're already ahead of the game, and I think they raised $3 million. I think because of that. So no, he he's super popular. The interesting part is that a lot of people thought it wasn't his time, if that's what you're going by. They thought 2 years at Siena. The interesting part is North Carolina gets rid of their coach that went to the Final Four 3 years ago, made the tournaments. They blew a 19-point lead to VCU, which I guess got them fired. Siena had a 13-point lead with 10 minutes to go in the game and lost by 6. So they got outscored by 19, and everybody's happy with McNamara. So that's the interesting part of just the equations of.
Well, I think because Siena should never even have been in that game. Right.
Well, at the end, I'm just saying that they did. Duke did turn around and outscored him by 19 in the last 10 minutes of the game. So he's a good hire. I agree. He's excellent. We'll see who he can keep and who they can get. That's the big thing. These GMs and stuff are now more. Sometimes they have to negotiate with the agents and get players in and how much you want to spend. There's a big controversy on George if he's going to take a pay cut to stay at Syracuse, because I guess they paid him a ton of money to come. So that's interesting. Tommy Lloyd's talking about the North Carolina job. Of course, he's playing for Arizona, win a title. So we'll see if that changes anything. But it's
just a couple of others on college basketball. Iowa upsetting Nebraska was a big upset.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No. In fact, I told everybody, you can talk to producer Dave, that I don't think beating Florida at the 1 seed everything's about matchups.
Yep.
And Florida could not go out and guard Iowa because of their perimeter team. If you watch the Prairie View, if you love the Florida against Prairie View, they just pounded the ball inside and because they had no size. Now they had to go guard Iowa on the perimeter. Nebraska and Iowa have known each other because they're from the same Big Ten. And as long as Iowa shoots the three, they're like Princeton on steroids. They take a lot of time off the clock. If you hit the three, so you look up.
Yep.
And so I don't think it was a big upset.
All right. I want to let's talk about tonight's games, and I want to start with which game should we start with, Kathy? Kathy in Rome.
Well,
maybe we could start with maybe we start with Michigan State. What do you think?
Yes.
Oh, sounds good.
All right. Michigan State takes on UConn tonight. What do you think, Scott?
I think if you had to pick a team for Michigan State to play in the Sweet 16, you want to play UConn because they're not a great shooting team, and Michigan State is about as streaky as it comes from the 3-point line. If they hit them, they're real good. If not, then they struggle shooting too. So you don't want to play a team like in Arizona or maybe in Illinois. They can go on a streak because they got real good outside shooters. So Michigan State, Kathy, that's like another good matchup. If they shoot the ball well, they should be in the game because UConn is not going to usually run away from you unless it's one of those nights where everything's going in, and that's basketball.
I have to tell you, yesterday was my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
And thank you. I always ask Michigan State to keep moving on, but I know that they've had a problem with UConn now and then meeting, but they played Duke earlier in the season, and they only lost to Duke by 2 points. So I'm still going to stick with them. Go green, go white.
Yeah, like I said, if you go down the list, there's about 2-3 teams Michigan State wants to play because they're not going to, unless UConn gets really hot, they should not run away. Arizona, the teams like that are going to give Michigan State trouble because Michigan State. Look at Houston. I told everybody about Houston. They go in. Houston's supposed to be was the 2 seed. And once again, a bad matchup because Illinois can score and Houston can't. And,
it depends on what kind of Michigan State shows up. The one that
we will see.
They're Jekyll and Hyde when it comes to shooting. You're right.
Find it.
And that's a late game. That's a 9:45 game tonight.
Yeah.
So. All right, Kathy. Good luck tonight.
Take
okay.
Care.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right. Then I did want your take. Number 5, St. John's taking on Duke. Does Patino have it in him? What do you think?
It's once again, it's St. John's. You know, they're streaky, just like Michigan State from outside. If they're hitting the outside shots, they play defense. Now, the interesting part is I think they're going to go up tempo on Duke, and Duke's not used to teams wanting to be up tempo because I think they're going to press them and try to turn the ball over. St. John's predicates a lot of their offense on defense, and we'll see if now the point guard issue now becomes a Duke problem. Because that's what everybody's been waiting for. Virginia almost took advantage of it in the championship game in the ACC, and they had them. They were turning them over pretty good. So
all right,
they have a chance. The game's in D.C., and unless you're a Duke fan, I'm sure they're going to be rooting for St. John's.
All right, quickly, I got a tight hour. Quickly, Scott in Kirkville, your picks for the weekend. Any things you can throw out to people here?
Yeah. I think the Arizona-Purdue game, both of them can shoot well and get up and down the court. What was great last night, I bet all in-game stuff, and we hit them all because you can see how the game is going. We all know Arizona, once they scored the first 20 points, that they can score at will, and I got them over under at 95, and they have 54 at halftime. I think the Alabama can stay with Michigan as long as I shoot from outside. That should be fun. It's Arizona. We'll see it. Everybody likes Arizona to win this thing, so they're playing Purdue. That's going to be good. I think Iowa State's got a good shot against Tennessee. Tennessee, once again, goes in those lulls, and we'll see if Iowa State doesn't do it there. But it's interesting because, like I said, Michigan State does have a shot against a number 2 team. Once again, matchups. And we don't know who's going to be playing Sunday because we don't know who's going to win there. But
all right.
It's Duke. It'll be interesting to see if they can shoot well enough, and St. John's can turn them over.
All right, Scott. We'll see what happens. Make a lot of money this weekend. We appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Have fun. Scott in Kirkville. I'm going to ask you guys news coming up. Before we get to that, though, I want to bring in Carrie Tibbetts from Tibbetts Maple Farm, and she's on the line right now. This weekend is Maple Weekend. Good morning, Carrie.
Good morning.
Great to have you on, and here we are. It's maple syrup season. How's it been so far? What's the taste this year? Anything unique based on the winter?
Definitely seeing a different, more traditional kind of season where we're boiling more in March than we have in the past years. We've started sometimes in January and February. It's been warm enough, but this year we didn't make any syrup in those months, and we've just been making it all in March and hopefully into April.
What goes on this weekend?
So this weekend is Maple Weekend. It's part of the New York State Maple Producers Association. Members put it on over the past 2 weekends. So last weekend, this weekend's the last one. So we open up our sugar houses from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays, just to give visitors a chance to see how pure maple syrup is made and taste all the maple goodies, and be able to ask questions and see where their food comes from.
All right. It's amazing how much can come out of the tree. All right. How much you can make with what comes out of the tree. There are a lot of different products.
Yeah. So definitely the sap, it takes about 40 gallons of sap to make the 1 gallon of maple syrup.
Wow.
And then from the maple, So, and then from the maple syrup, we can do the maple sugar. Like turn that into the candies, or we can turn it into a maple cream, or the more traditional granulated maple sugar. Just taking all the moisture out of it.
Yeah, that maple cream is so good.
And so
you use cinnamon.
You use that as butter, like on toast, right?
I put it on French toast. As opposed to just maple syrup, and it sticks to it. It is so good.
What else can you use that for? Does anybody put that in like a coffee or a tea? What other uses does that have?
You put it on a spoon and just eat it.
Yeah, I love it on blueberries. I don't ever eat blueberries, but if you drizzle maple cream on blueberries, you can put it in your coffee too. And
interesting. I had never had it.
Really good toast. It would be really.
I'd never had it till a couple weeks ago. Farmer Ben brought us some from your farm, I believe. It was delicious.
Really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want people to know for this weekend?
Can I ask one more question on the getting? It takes 40 gallons to get 1 gallon of maple syrup.
That's crazy.
How long do you have to cook that down to go from 40 to 1?
It depends on what you're using. Our boys who are 5th generation, they are now 11 and 16. They have their own evaporator. It could take them all day. We have a more industrial size evaporator. We can do about 40 gallons of syrup in an hour. So It just depends on how you're cooking it.
And then how many pails do you have out in a season?
We got about five or six pails out. All ours is on tubing, on vacuum systems.
Oh, right.
We have about 3,500 taps altogether.
How much can you get out of a? We're not done, are we? How much can you get out of a tree?
Your goal is to get a half a gallon of syrup per tree produced.
Okay.
So you're trying to get 20 gallons of sap.
Yeah.
That's sap per tree.
And you get what you get, right?
And then that's.
You get what you get. Yeah, it has to be
It's not
above
like
freezing during the day and below freezing at night for the sap to run.
It's not like a vampire that just takes too much blood from the woman and she just dies.
No, it'll give what it gives, and as soon as the trees start to bud, then we pull the taps and
got it.
So, and if you're
go to the leaf.
If you're saying 20 gallon a tree, that's a month, a week, a year?
For the season, yeah.
For the whole
whatever
season.
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
How many gallons?
20.
20 out of a tree.
Out of a tree in the whole season.
All right, that's pretty good. So, yeah, that makes sense that you don't have to have them all over the place. And you have the tubing, so that puts it all it does it all for you. So that's good. All right, interesting stuff, Carrie. We appreciate it. Tibbetts Farm this weekend and other farms around the area. It's maple syrup weekend.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good weekend.
And as she pointed out, this is the second and last maple weekend across the state of New York. Not only is Tibbetts Farm participating, and they're on 8874 Tibbetts Road in New Hartford, you also have Shaw's Maple Products on Maxwell Road in Clinton. I've got two more here that are considered local. There's the, I'm going to say it wrong, is it the VVS FFA?
Yep. It's VVS high schoolers.
Yes.
They have a whole maple syrup program there, and they sell it.
And then
they do a great job.
Collins Family Maple, which is where we got the maple milk from, which was delicious.
Really good too.
So those are four that are participating locally. You can check out the full map and more information at mapleweekend.com.
I'm wondering why we haven't gotten into I think maple farmers, maple syrup farmers have been very creative, right?
Are you going down the road of maple marijuana?
No, but
that's where my mind went.
That might be an idea. But I wonder, though, why haven't our other big product that is sold around here, and it's kind of a craze like this, is sweet corn. But you don't have, it's like, come on in. We've got ears of sweet corn. We've got sweet corn butter. We've got sweet corn syrup. We've got, corn syrup, right? We don't seem to, it's just, come on down. That's a sweet corn this year. You're going to love it. We really don't go crazy there.
Well, and I think part of it is, like you pointed out, we don't make a variety of products. Plus, with sweet corn, it's kind of corn and you consume it as it is. The other thing is, I think it's interesting. Obviously with the corn stalks, we see them grow, and then there's a certain time of year where they're so high you can't see past the intersection. You got to creep out there, and then all of a sudden you come by one day and it's leveled, and they've harvested all the corn. But the thing with the trees is so interesting. First of all, it tastes so good, and you literally put a tap in a tree like it's a beer keg.
And then just boil it down.
It's like
crazy.
It is a really cool thing. And then,
is.
as we said, you can make so many different products.
I got to tell you, speaking of sweet corn, we had a close friend. We'd get down to the Shea Stadium and go to Mets games. They would always get box seats because they would bring. Can't do this anymore.
No.
You can't even tip the ushers anymore.
Really?
At Citi Field, no tipping. Because it used to be, here's a 20 and you'd get a really good seat. They may move you around a little. They wouldn't give them money. They would come down and they'd be waiting for him every year with a bag of upstate fresh sweet corn. And
one bag?
They would be sitting in box seats. Yep. One paper grocery bag. of sweet corn.
One of those things, supply and demand.
Yep.
That bag of sweet corn, which is probably retails for what?
In
at
New
a
York,
stand, $4
up here, but not down there.
Yeah, down there
Yeah,
it's really.
yeah.
But you can go to a stand around here and get a dozen ears for $4 or $5,
or just steal it from your neighbor farmer. I mean,
well, don't do that.
Here, speaking of baseball, that's my transition. Craig Muter with the Baseball Hall of Fame. Craig, good morning.
Well, Bill, can we talk sweet corn a little more? Because I want to talk to you about what you just said about turning the corner with the corn stalk.
Yes.
I had a friend of my daughter's come up, and we were actually driving down to the museum for a tour at the Hall of Fame, and she saw the stalks were cut down. It was about a month ago, and she said, I didn't realize that the corn was cut down. I thought it was just growing all the time. But she was in the city and had no idea.
I have no idea. Yeah, that is wild. Well, listen, if you haven't traveled much out of the city, you don't know anything but, right?
Apparently, absolutely.
I thought it came in a box. I never realized. All right, well, here we are. It is baseball season.
What do you I'm sorry, I can't get past this. What do box seats go for at that time? I mean, literally.
Back then, I don't know, a $20 tip would get you a seat and you'd be moving around. So, now, you want to get good seats behind home plate at Citi Field, you'll spend $800-900 on a box seat.
And it used to be.
And then they move out a little bit, it'll get to $500 or $600, and then you can, as you get close to the game, you can pick up some bargains. But
a dozen ears of corn used to get you.
Yep. At
for
least
what
it
goes
did
for
them.
$900 nowadays. Thank a farmer.
Yes. Okay. This is a big time for you because it starts baseball. It kicks the excitement back in, and it really kicks off, Craig. Not that it ends because you get visitors all year long, but this kicks off the season for you guys.
It does. Visitor season starts now, and it's going to be a really exciting one because, as you may know, Bill, in May, we're opening our new museum store. So the building right next to the Hall of Fame, it used to be Newberry's, and then it was the general store, for those who are familiar.
Yep.
It's now going to be the museum store. May 9th, that's Saturday, we open it. It's more than double the space we had in the museum store before. This is going to be a game changer for us at the Hall of Fame. We're really excited.
I think that's going to be awesome. And there's just so much you can do. I know that a couple of the people, we're always talking about the Turning Stone and how they use local vendors. Well, so does the Hall of Fame. And I know some local vendors that do work for things that are sold inside the gift shop, the gift store. And, I mean, you guys do a lot of investing locally. Even some people who have a craft and an art find their things inside the museum shop and get sold. It's pretty cool.
It is, and not just items in the gift store, but also books.
Yeah.
Authors who we have in our museum store, the bookstore, and that's the baseball book industry is a huge piece of what we do here at the Hall of Fame. In the summer, we have the Author Series program where we have authors come in and talk about their books. Baseball, the history is just so massive. And people are just writing about it all the time and have been for more than 100 years. This game is so tied to this country. And that's what we do at the Hall of Fame. We tell the story of not just the game on the field, but how it connects to the country.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about what this season looks like for you. What can people expect? Of course, you'll have big induction, and there's a lot going on.
So after we open the new museum store in May, and then a couple weeks later, we'll have the Hall of Fame Military Classic, which is bringing the Legends game back to Doubleday Field on Saturday, May 23rd. We've got 7 Hall of Famers there. A couple dozen former players are going to be here. It's going to be a neat salute to really how baseball and the military have intersected over the years, and the 70 Hall of Famers who put their careers on hold, like Ted Williams, in order to serve their country. That's going to be a great event here in May. And then, like you said, induction coming up a couple months after that in July, where Carlos Beltran, Andrew Jones, and Jeff Kent, 2 former New York Mets, by the way,
yes, absolutely,
will be inducted this summer.
That's going to be awesome. That'll be a big weekend. Whenever you have those New York ties or even the Northeast ties, it leads to big numbers.
Absolutely. And you look at Beltran. This is a guy, the more I read about him, the more research I did on him as it was getting closer and closer to the election. He's just a very, very unique numbers in terms of 1,500 RBIs, 1,500 runs scored, 300-plus stolen bases. Of all the guys who've stolen at least 300 bases in history, he has the best percentage, more than 87% success. He was never thrown out. And that's just not speed. That's understanding how to play the game. And he was a fourth hitter, too. People forget this guy hit from both sides of the plate and was pretty much equal. I mean, like the same guy from either side, which is rare.
Yeah.
Extremely rare. And I don't know how much you can get into about this, but, I actually forgotten about this. You remember Carlos Beltran was tabbed to be the Mets manager, but then they quickly reversed on that because of the whole scandal in Houston. And we've seen over the years guys who were tied to quote-unquote cheating have not been entered into the Hall as yet. But I was surprised Beltran essentially got a pass here. Was this his first time eligible?
No, it was his fourth, and I'm not sure he got a pass. I think that some of the voters did hold back because when you look at it, Beltran's numbers, he's probably a first ballot guy.
That's fair.
It took him four times to get in. But fair. I will say this about it, Bill. He's owned up to it. He said, I made a mistake. I was wrong. And for my money as a fan, you can't be having people, use technology to steal signs. You got to stop this, and MLB did. On the other hand, people have been stealing signs as long as they've been signs. This is nothing new,
right?
Sign stealing. I mean, people were stacking binoculars in stands, way back. So I'm not saying it was right. I'm just saying that this is something that has been going on and still goes on today. I guarantee you yesterday in the openers, a lot of guys were stealing signs as much as they could.
Well, and that's part of the game, right? I understand using technology to get there kind of changes it a little bit. The stealing of signs is... I mean, as you guys said, you probably saw it in multiple games yesterday where there's a runner on second base. He's looking in, and if his hand goes on his hip, it's a breaking ball. If he puts it on his head, it's a fastball. Yeah, I spotted it. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. They use the pitch calm now, so you're not, the catcher doesn't have the fingers down. But on the other hand, you can look at the pitcher, and a lot of times you can see the grip that he's got on the ball,
glove.
Or how he holds his glove, and that tips off the pitch. So this is something that's been going on for a long, long time. They say that in the 51 playoff Dodgers Giants, that the Giants were stealing signs. They had guys out on the scoreboard looking at it. So it's nothing new. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, the difference is with Beltran versus P. Rose. P. Rose fought it to the very end. He refused to be gracious and apologetic. And now, Craig, just look at baseball today in all sports. I mean, you can't get through a game without seeing 4 or 5 commercials. Even the announcers reading the line or a prop bet you can make. It's become which is why I think you're looking at the robotic balls and strikes, the robot umpire. I think that is kind of putting umpires in a position where you got to be very careful and by the book. But look at how gambling has become a part of the game now. Officially.
It has, and it's you got the 2 Cleveland pitchers who are going to go on trial in November for supposedly for the prop bets, and that's going to be a big story when that breaks. But you mentioned Pete Rose. In 18 months or so, he's going to be we're going to be talking about him as a Hall of Fame candidate because now Major League Baseball has removed him from the ineligible list.
Yep.
And so in the fall of 27. He's going to be eligible for the Classic Era Baseball Committee ballot and might get on it. So that's going to be interesting. That's coming up quicker than you think. That's for sure.
I feel it's going to be very hard to not put him in based on, even if there's an asterisk of some sort, there will always be. I mean, everyone will always know. But how do you deny the great things that he did in the game?
What about Shoeless Joe Jackson? Jackson's going to fall into the same category. He's going to be eligible too because he's off the ineligible list. And here was a guy who was a 400 hitter. Top 5 said he was better than he was. So that's going to be interesting in the fall of 27. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Give me a chance to hop up on a soapbox for 1 second. You guys can agree or disagree. So sometimes people have said to me things like, Bonds or Rose or Shoeless Joe, you can't tell the story of baseball without these guys, right? And whether it was for better or worse, they should still be included in the story of baseball. And my argument is they are. You can find Barry Bonds memorabilia inside the Baseball Hall of Fame. I'm sure same with Shoeless Joe and same with Pete Rose.
Pete Rose.
Right? So, but I do think that's a fair part of the story. I think their stories should be told where you say, look how talented this guy was, and then look how he essentially had this never-ending black eye because they did something jeopardizing the sanctity of the game. And I think that's an important part of it, too.
What is your take on that?
Anytime someone says they're not in the hall, well, they might not be inducted, but they are in the hall.
Absolutely. And the thing about being in the plaque gallery and having a plaque is only 1% of all players to ever play the game have a plaque. So, you can be in the 2% club. That means you're better than 97% of anybody who's ever played the game, but you're still not in.
Yeah.
So you have the Pete Roses of the world, you have the Barry Bondses of the world, you have the Roger Marises of the world. There are people always going to be having that discussion, but that's why I prefer it. I'd much rather be having this discussion with you than saying, we're the Pro Football Hall of Fame and everybody gets in. No, I'd much rather be having this conversation.
And I don't know about anybody else, but for me, the Barry Bonds story, I feel is worse than, for the Hall, is worse than the Pete Rose story. In that, and I understand, I do understand the repercussions of gambling in baseball and betting against your own team, but which Rose said he didn't do, but then he did. I don't know. But I got to tell you, what Bonds did just it broke records by using an artificial substance to give you the strength to do it. That is just one of the worst things when it comes to statistics that could ever happen.
I think you see that the voters probably agree with you, Bill.
Yeah.
Because not only the writers, and the writers, Bonds got to about 67% in the writers' ballot, but then when he's been on the Air Committee ballot, which is about half Hall of Famers and half other veteran writers or executives, he hasn't gotten close. So it tells you kind of what the Hall of Famers think about that,
Yeah. All right. Interesting. Well, listen, it feels good that baseball is back.
Yes, it does.
It does, absolutely. Spring is here, and baseball is back, and we're going to have a good summer in Cooperstown.
And I don't know if you know this, but every time I've had you on opening week, I always tell you the same thing. I'm going to tell you, pretty sure.
Feels like 86 to Bill.
This is 1969, 1986. Here we go, New York Mets.
That's the beauty of baseball. Everybody has hope this first week, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right, especially when you're 1-0.
If I'm not mistaken, Craig is a Pirates fan.
Yes. Is that true?
That is true, Bill.
Yeah.
That was not a good game yesterday.
Well, boy, I think it was the right move to pull him. He only had one out at that time. He could not get the second out. He was just having a very off day.
Oh, you had to pull him. You can't let him throw 45. Yeah. The Pirates manager said it. Lindor was up next. And if Lindor takes that at bat long, he's going to throw 45 pitches. You can't let him do that in his first start of the season. You just can't. And, he should have had 3 other outs that inning. He should have had the 2 balls that Cruz caught, and he should have had the comebacker to the mound. So he actually he probably got 4 or 5 outs, but he didn't record them. And sometimes, baseball is a strange game.
Yeah.
This is what happens. It happens during 162. So you protect the player and you flush it and you move on.
Listen, let me tell you, this is the world why you don't gamble and you don't gamble. I had Lindor going deep. And all of a sudden they pull him. What? It's the first inning. You gotta be kidding me. And then what's his name? The third baseman. The young
Bichette.
No, not third baseman. Designated hitter yesterday.
Beatty.
Beatty, I had him. I'm like, there's no way he's hitting a triple, but he's going to hit a double here.
He got a triple.
That's why.
If anybody had Steve's only going one inning on their bingo card yesterday, I'd like to meet him.
Yeah,
that's exactly.
That's exactly right. Yep. All right, Craig, we'll do it again soon. We always enjoy it. Thank you so much.
Take care, Bill.
All right, Craig Muter with the Baseball Hall of Fame. I got to keep it going here because we're almost out of time. It's been a huge hour, and let me just stick with a big weekend coming up. Joe Benson with the Utica Comets. Big weekend. Joe, good morning, and what's on tap?
Morning, guys. Yeah, we got we'll be in Cleveland this weekend, so leaving in a little bit. A couple games against the Monsters. Haven't seen them since opening weekend, so it's been a while. Big win for the guys on Wednesday night in Laval. So back to 6 points behind Rochester, and they play 3 games this weekend, twice against Syracuse, which is good for us. So hopefully Syracuse can beat up on them a little bit.
Listen, you need some help. You got to keep winning. Yeah. It's not out of the question, though, right?
No. I mean, that was a huge win the other night. So we're back to within 6 points. So we need, essentially 3 games back. If we swept this weekend and Rochester loses all 3, we'll be 2 points back, which would be huge.
Think about that.
And still some, these couple weeks left in the schedule in the season. So yeah, we definitely need some help. We definitely need to keep winning. So we'll hope for the best here this weekend and see what happens. Then we'll be home for a couple games next week.
You're doing what I did yesterday. Lindor is going to hit a home run here, and then Beatty's going to, yeah. No, listen, sweep this weekend and get a little help. All of a sudden, you're right in it. And of course, at the odd, it's the Frozen Four. What a huge event for the weekend at the Adirondack Bank Center and Hamilton College today, playing at 3 p.m. So, all right, good stuff, Joe. We appreciate the update. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
And go Comets.
10 games left in the regular season.
Can you believe that?
I know.
Yeah, that's where we are. Listen, Steve Ponte Mazda, the New Year, New Mazda sales event is winding down. And you can save on a new Mazda lease. Enjoy low APR financing on select new 2026 Mazda models. See the dealership for details, and Rick and anybody over there. They've increased their inventory. They have loaded them up on the lot. And one of the things is gas prices have gone up. I switched my. It's all done right on the dash. How does your hybrid work? And mine was kind of a hybrid version where I would be electric, and then when you have a little more torque on the engine, it would switch over to gas, and then it would kind of do that all the way. And you're going to use gas and electric, but for short runs like coming back to work, going to work, and coming back to work, I made the switch when the gas prices started going up to priority electric. So that means I can drive from home to work, back home again, easily on a single charge.
Nice.
Never spend a drop of gas. Huh? That's the Mazda. That's Ricky Z saying you want this one. And he'll take care of you. And they all will, before, during, and after. As Rick says, let's make your deal on a new Mazda, where it's always easy to do business. Steve Ponte Mazda, Commercial Drive, Yorkville. And if you didn't go to Rick and Steve and you're feeling the pain, well, it could be the way you're walking. This is my transition into this one. The Good Feet Store enters New Hartford. Arch support specialists. You can walk in and get a free fitting and test walk. There is no appointment needed. You just walk in, and they will do a free, no obligation, personalized fitting. And these are inserts that go in your shoes, your current shoes, or you can add shoes. They'll take care of you there. And many, and we've had them in studio talking about it, many have said it has changed their lives when it comes to dealing with pain, that it always was the walk, their step. That was the problem. It's the Good Feet Store, a 3-step system with strengtheners, maintainers, and relaxers. Just inserts that go in, and you just carry out your regular day. 4630 Commercial Drive in New Hartford, the Good Feet Store, 315-999-3910, but no appointment is needed. All right, go Hamilton.
Go Hamilton.
Today at 3 p.m., and Davey will be there covering the whole weekend. We'll get a report from him coming up on Monday, and we'll have updates on our website over the weekend as well at WIBX950.com.
The deals are exploding at Steed Pawnee Chevrolet in Herkimer. And if you've been thinking about upgrading your ride, now's the moment to move. For a limited time, we're offering supplier pricing for all on the powerful 2026 Chevy Silverado half-ton lineup. That's serious savings on one of America's toughest trucks. Take the 2026 Silverado Crew Cab RST four-wheel drive and save over $8,000 on a truck built to work hard and look great. Looking for something versatile? Lease a brand new 2026 Chevy Equinox LT all-wheel drive for just $329 a month for 36 months with 10,000 miles per year. Don't wait. These offers end March 31st. Silverado offer requires a 2012 or newer Chevrolet in the household. Equinox lease requires a current lease in the household, $3,000 down plus first payment, all taxes and fees due at delivery. Customer must qualify for top-tier credit through GM Financial. See salesperson for details. Stop in and see why it's always easy to do business at Steed Pawnee Chevrolet. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Are you sick of being just a number or doing a mindless job? Become a craftsman in a trade. Become an IBEW electrician. The IBEW and the Electrician Training Alliance will give you all the tools necessary at their state-of-the-art training facility. Earn as you learn. Paid